I was just having a chat to a few people around the grounds, and they have indicated that most of the grounds are holding up really well, even despite the fact that we've had a little bit of rain and obviously earlier games, which can chew the ground up, and no set of wicket of cricket here. So obviously that is a real lifesaver in terms of the ground condition too, and we should see a really terrific contest.
Absolutely, and look, Wes, I suppose one of your predecessors at Win TV, I can remember being here at university and they crossed to him, he was in his gumboots and he was standing out in the middle of the City Oval and there was not a blade of grass doing a sports preview. And you know, full credit to the Ballarat Council and the football clubs for producing grounds of this quality. They are absolutely immaculate.
Now, last week, obviously, the Ballarat Toyota match of the day with Redan up against Ballarat Swans. It was a really entertaining contest. I had a look at that on live stream. Unfortunately, I was out of action with the dreaded COVID, Brett, which is obviously taking a toll on all elements of our game, and obviously last week including the commentary. But the contest was a terrific one between those two sides, and obviously the Ballarat Swans were able to prevail. They're playing pretty good football. We saw them the week earlier up against North Ballarat Roosters.
Yeah, look, Ballarat were really impressive there a couple of weeks ago, but, you know, looking through both these teams and their lists, there's some real quality. There's some really good players in both sides. A number of guys with, you know, really high-level football experience. I think, obviously, Lockie George is certainly one of them. He's been an outstanding player at VFL level for North Ballarat, and then obviously Williamstown, and played in a couple of premierships for North Ballarat when they were in the VFL. So, you know, there's certainly going to be some quality footballers out in the park today.
And you talk about VFL football, and of course, VFL football has cost Bacchus Marsh to a certain extent today, with Nick Stooldriver being elevated to a game tomorrow, which is disappointing that we're going to miss out on him today, but great for him that he's got another run with Port Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great to see these guys, you know, progressing with their football and trying to play the best level they can. And you know, and just on young Nick, he's obviously had a pretty good football bloodlines with his father, Chris, as you'd be aware of, Wes, was one of the greatest country league full forwards in the Golden Valley Football League.
Well, indeed, and also played a bit of football up in the Ovens and Murray for 9 consecutive seasons, Brett. 9 seasons, kicked 100-plus goals. That is extraordinary.
It's an amazing record, and, you know, I'm sure plenty of fullbacks didn't sleep that well on a Friday night when they were going to come up against Chris, and, you know, kicked so many goals for Kyabram in what was a great league, the Golden Valley Football League, and it still is. But I think when Chris was running around, you know, early 90s, mid 90s, whatever it was, the Golden Valley Football League was absolutely sensational and chock full of talent.
One season he kicked 170 goals, which is quite extraordinary. I would have been pretty happy with 70 goals as the captains shake in the middle of City Oval here in Ballarat, ready for the toss of the coin.
Yeah, and look, it's just interesting what the sides actually go through. You know, some of the drills and things they do out in the ground before the game commences are really top-level stuff. You know, it's like a little training run and just trying to get a little bit of connection between, you know, the rucks and the mids into the forwards. It's good to watch.
Some formalities happening out in the middle of the arena right at the moment. We can see some photos being taken and dual captains for the sides taking part in that. Just a few minutes from the start. Oh, here's the toss of the coin now. And it looks like Bacchus Marsh have won the toss. Jake Owen indicates that he'll kick to the Bacchus Marsh end of City Oval.
Yeah, and look, obviously Jake Owen is a quality player. You know, he's spent a number of seasons at Williamstown. He's probably their key forward. If Jake can get on the end of a few, he doesn't miss often. He's a beautiful kick of the ball, and I think he's certainly the guy that Bacchus Marsh will be looking forward to having impact on the game.
And I'm just looking at the trees on the other side of the ground. There does seem to be a little bit of movement. I suspect that we're dealing with a slight southwesterly here at City Oval.
Yeah, it's only sort of a slight breeze, Wes, and it shouldn't affect things too much, but you know, we are in Ballarat, and I suppose, you know, the weather can turn at any minute, but at the moment it's pretty good.
So let's look at some of the other key players from the respective sides and your knowledge. Of some of the guys running around today.
Yeah, look, I think number 3 for Redan, Cooper Atchison. He's a boy originally from Warrnambool, and did I think a pre-season at Williamstown, and was very unlucky not to be listed. He'll be looking forward to having an impact on the game. I think he's got a big future at football at a higher level than this. I think he's certainly one to look out for. But look, I've mentioned Lockie George. He's just a battering ram. Physical, hard at it. He'll start in the midfield. He's a guy that Bacchus Marsh are going to have to keep an eye on because he's a great kick, uses the ball well, but has a real physical presence. They're probably the two main ones for me out of the Redan stable. And Bacchus Marsh, Tom German, the captain coach. He's a very experienced player at high level football. I've spoken about Jakey Owen. I think Jake being the captain, he's going to probably stand up as he usually does, and he's just a beautiful left foot kick. And as I said, if he can get his hands on the ball and clunk a few marks and get a few shots on goal, he's going to have a big impact on the game.
Looks like most of our supporters here at City Oval are staying within the confines of their vehicles. There's a lot of cars parked around the ground, and I dare say there'll be a lot of people enjoying the warmth of home, tuning into the live stream, Brett. So hopefully we can provide some fantastic entertainment for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I walked in, I walked past the admin building of the Ballarat Football League, and there's a photo out the front of the City Oval, and the grandstand is absolutely chock-a-block. And in front of the grandstand, it's just standing room, which is absolutely full. I reckon it's from about the 1950s when life was probably a bit simpler, and probably country football was really, really important. And still is, but it was probably the day out that you had.
Indeed. Such an important part of every community as the big men prepare. Nathan Dunstan and Daniel Burton prepare to go at it. As the umpire holds the ball aloft here at City Oval in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day. And the ball underground. It's Redan with first possession through the agency of Atchison. Kicks it out wide. Running under it is Kai Jess. Swings onto the left boot, kicks inside 50. Big reach over the top there on that occasion from Daniel Valden, and fists the ball over the line 35 metres out from defensive goal. That's what you want to see from your defenders, Brett.
Yeah, you just want to kill that ball off, Wes, and I think you spoke about that a couple of weeks ago, the importance of doing that and being able to reset it at a stoppage.
It's Burton towards centre wing, and the mark taken on this occasion by Jake Owen. Owen moves it on by hand. He'll get it back. Now onto what seems to be an uncharacteristic left foot, and the kick's partially smothered. So Redan are able to win it back on the outer side of the ground, or the southern side of City Oval, which seems like an awfully long way away from where we are in the stand here. Dean Matthews kicks forward. Mark spilled. Pack forms over the footy, and we'll have a ball up some 60 metres out from the Redan goal. Southern side of City Oval.
Just a chain of handballs then from Redan trying to work the ball up towards their scoring zone.
And the ball worked over the boundary line on this occasion. And in fact, a free kick has been paid. And it's going to be the Marsh, the recipient. Kick towards centre wing. Big leap on that occasion came from Owen. Couldn't take the mark, so Redan clean up the crumbs. Taken by Broadbent, and he's worked over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. 65 metres around from the Redan goal. No score yet on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Round 5 Ballarat Toyota match of the day. Bit of bustling there between Burton and Dunstan. The Marsh with the takeaway. Kick towards centre wing, and the mark taken by German. Moves it on by hand. The Marsh go in for side 50 for the first time today, and there's the mark taken by Rex Hickman. Toughish sort of angle from there, given the distance that he'll kick from 50.
Bacchus Marsh just seemed to perhaps want to kick the ball a little bit more at the moment. Where's going down with a bit of a breeze? That may be something they spoke about before the game.
Kicking to the eastern or Bacchus Marsh end of City Oval. Kicks it up nice and high. It's a goal square contest, and it's fisted over the line. There's our first score in the Ballarat Toyota match of the day. The Ballarat Toyota scoreboard says Bacchus Marsh just that one behind. Redan yet to score. And so Redan, they're going to use the grandstand side of City Oval on this occasion, kicking to a 3-on-1. Bacchus Marsh certainly had the numbers there, but they were happy to find the refuge of the boundary line.
Quade Butt loves to kill the ball off. He's already done that twice, Wes, and Bacchus Marsh were able to get numbers over on that kick in from Redan. They just read that really well, made it a 3v1.
Shallow throw in, Burton first to the footy, although he pretty much double fists it straight to the opposition. Here's Redan hugging the boundary. They've got numbers once again. A little miscommunication there on that occasion between the Marsh. Those players were Quade Butt and also Jack Williams. The ball over the boundary line in front of us in the commentary position.
Patrick Fitzgibbon being quite busy for Redan, starting in the midfield. Probably had 4 or 5 touches already.
Body work once again by Burton, trying to get Dunstan off the footy. Now working hard at ground level. Could have been held high. Umpire calls play on. Redan inside 50. Diving attempt, but it's going to be the Marsh at ground level. Kick towards the grandstand side, and just waiting there on that occasion was Fitzgibbon for Redan, and that allowed Tom German to enter the contest and to take the mark. Moves it on quickly, and it's going to go the way of Eastmuir. He plays on immediately. Now Bacchus Marsh inside 50, so 2-on-1 situation. Redan with the numbers. They do well. They come away via the grandstand side of the ground, and the mark there taken by McDougall. McDougall has a short option on and finds Matthews. So Matthews right on defensive 50. Right half back. He's got eyes on the fat side of the ground, but proves to hug the boundary on this side. Mark almost taken, not paid. The Marsh not too happy with that. The man in question was LaFranchi, just asking the question of the umpire, what more do I need to do for a mark to be paid?
Probably a reasonable question, but the Bacchus Marsh forward line looks really nice and open when they enter in there at the moment. So Redan defenders will be a bit nervous.
Burton has front position, palms the ball to ground. Marsh with the takeaway, awkward bouncing footy. That was German in the contest. Diving on it there was McKercher. Pack forms, umpire intervenes once again. 5.5 minutes gone on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard, and it's just the one behind Bacchus Marsh. Nice work by Burton. And now inside 50 once again go the Marsh, but leading his rival to the footy is Redan's Jacob Wirtz, and he's able to clear the ball to the other side of the ground. Good turn of speed there on that occasion by the Lions, although the kick was a little ill-directed. Need to do better than that, Redan.
Yeah, look, you know, certainly on the burst, just a bit of composure with the ball in hand. The idea was right, but, you know, handed it straight back to Bacchus Marsh.
Now the Marsh able to progress. It's LaFranchi. Pushes it out wide. And now to right half forward. Good mark. Taken by the Cobras. Called to play on. Kick towards centre half forward. A little ill-directed. Oh, mark spilt there on that occasion by Atchison. And a free kick's been paid. And it's going to go the way of the Lions. That's Dean Matthews. Sends it out wide. Coming back in board. A little too heavily weighted there on that occasion. And turning the footy over. Bacchus Marsh back to Burton. Burton swings onto the left. Long towards centre half forward. Redan certainly have the numbers. I'm wondering if they may have pushed an extra player back. Here's an opportunity for the Marsh. Could have been a push in the back. And that's precisely how the umpire sees it.
Really interesting transition of footy from defence into the forward half for Redan at the moment. They just seem to be falling down just a little bit forward of centre. So it's probably something they need to fix up and address.
Parenti sets it up nice and high. Goal square opportunity. Kick off the ground. It could be the first goal of the game to the Marsh. It is. So the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard says Bacchus Marsh 1-1-7, leading Redan yet to score. And that's precisely what the Cobras are seeking.
Yeah, I think it was young Ryland Porter there, just got to the drop of the ball. No one was sort of defending the goal line. He was able to just put his toe on the ball and get the first one on the board, Wes.
Yes, good, clever work by the young fella. Giving the visitors the early break. Redan needing to respond. Barnes kicks it out wide to the City Oval grandstand side of the ground, and the ball beats all comers over the line to be thrown in by the boundary umpire immediately in front of us. 1-1-7. Is Bacchus Marsh. Redan yet to score. I reckon Dunstan may just have a couple of inches advantage over Burton, but Burton rarely lowers his colours. He's a very good player. Here's an opportunity for Redan. Inside 50, Barnes. Although I think his intended target was Isaac Grant, but a little too heavily weighted once again. And that just opens the door for LaFranchi, who's been quite prominent early. King out wide. His intended target was Parenti, and the ball bounces over the boundary line to be thrown in on the southern side of City Oval.
Bacchus Marsh seem to be wanting to use that side of the ground, Wes, and Redan forwards, just the last couple of entries, have just been falling in on each other, so they need to separate, try and isolate defenders.
No decisive win out by either ruckman there on that occasion. Ball goes forward for Redan. Running onto it is Lachlan McLean. Worm-burning kick. Intended target there was Boyer, and the ball over the boundary line to be thrown in 25 metres around from the Redan goal.
Just a lot of numbers once again around this stoppage, so it's going to be really difficult for Redan to get a scoring opportunity. Bacchus Marsh seem to have really consolidated and thickened up this stoppage.
That's Lockie George doing the ruck work. Inside 50. Here's an opportunity for Redan. What can they conjure up here? A snap on goal is just to the right. First score on the board for Redan, but they trail Bacchus Marsh. 1-1-7, the Cobras leading the Lions. Just the one behind. We've travelled just over 10 minutes in the first quarter of our Ballarat Toyota match of the day.
Well, they proved me wrong there. They did get an opportunity to score, but it was pretty rushed. You know, I think they just need to open up that stoppage a bit, give themselves a bit more room to do their work in.
Bacchus Marsh using the grandstand side of the ground. Long kick, good mark taken by Burton. He's been very good early on. Moves it on very quickly. I'm not sure that he exactly went behind the mark there on that occasion. Dunstan may have been a bit frustrated. Oh, a little bit of volleyball comes into play. Another opportunity opens up for Bacchus Marsh. And there's the second goal to the Cobras.
And it's our same man, Wes, Ryland Porter. And just a great bit of play from Jake Owen. You know, you've got a bit of breeze behind you. Opportunity just to knock the ball forward to the advantage of the small player. And he was able to run into an easy shot and goal.
Well, Porter was a late inclusion in the lineup, and he has started the game quite brilliantly, playing that small forward role.
And it's almost a perfect day for small forwards. Like it's a little bit breezy, a bit swirly, a little bit damp. You know, ball's probably going to be on the deck a fair bit, and if he can get to those right spots, which he's done twice, he could be in for a big day.
Bacchus Marsh 2-1-13 leads Redan 1 behind on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Dunstan wins this one to ground. Could have been caught high, called the play on. Pack forms over the footy and pinged, and it's going to go the way of the Cobras. Bit of a show of aggression from Harrison King, eager to get hold of the footy. Goes long, sends it out into the pathway of Rex Hickman. Hickman takes it, and the looping handball over the top to the advantage of Jake Owen. Redan need to get numbers back. And once again, the pack forms, and the umpire will be forced to become involved in the game. 2-1-13 plays the one behind.
I think Bacchus Marsh will be really happy with this setup. They've got a spare back. It's going to be really hard for Redan to get through that.
A little bit of push and shove on the boundary line on that far west corner from where we're situated in the grandstand. In the southeastern corner of City Oval, ball thrown in. Dunstan doing the ruck work against Hickman on this occasion. Ball shuffled towards the line and free kick paid. It's going to go the way of the Cobras. So Bacchus Marsh inside 50 once again. Big leap from behind and a free kick's been paid. And we may have a 50.
Yeah, I think it's a 50, Wes. So it looks like both sides are playing a spare man, you know, behind the play at the moment, but it just seems to be suiting Bacchus Marsh a bit better. They seem to be using the football a bit more efficiently than Redan are at the minute.
Sometimes just a work rate issue in terms of players' willingness to run hard to get back.
Absolutely, and if you're going to have a spare behind the play, it's got to be the right person. It's got to be the right player. It can't just be a spare for the sake of it.
So that was Atchison sending it out wide, and no great gains there on that occasion by Redan. They didn't use that one particularly well.
No, it was just to a dead zone of the ground, so you're not going to challenge Bacchus Marsh for that sort of ball use.
Dunstan, front position against Burton. Burton always makes good from whatever position he's in. He's a highly accomplished player. The kick forward for Bacchus Marsh bounces, and in fact it's bounced over the line, so it's going to be a free kick at left half back to the favour of the Lions.
It's a bit of a strange game at the moment, where's the ball's sort of being played in the rim of the bike wheel, so to speak, you know, right on the boundary line. Neither side's really looked to open up anything inside in the 45, although it's probably a better effort, but not executed the way it probably wanted to be.
Isaac Grant look for Fitzgibbon. Now an opportunity for Redan. Good fist away by Bacchus Marsh. At ground level. And what can the Lions conjure up now? Isaac Grant's in the contest there, held without the footy. And Redan bring it away into the midfield region now. Kick inside 50. Mark Spilt. Sweeping handball out wide, taken by Wirtz. And cut off once again by a resolute Bacchus Marsh defence. Jack Williams hugs the boundary, finds Riley Stilldryer. Inboard now. Eastmuir. Well, claiming the mark there was Atchison. Umpire disagreed.
Just the last minute or two, both sides have tried to take bigger risks with their ball movement and try and get through the middle a bit more. Redan's last, forward entry was much better.
Palmed down by Dunstan. Opportunity for Barnes. Kick off the ground. Good work by the Lions, although might have been a little falcon there on that occasion, I suspect. Ball spills out to the back of the pack. Good gather at ground level. Well done, Isaac Grant. Inboard. Barnes the recipient. Now the Lions inside 50. They're outnumbered 2-1. Bring the ball to ground. Here we go. And maybe an opportunity missed once again.
Well, it looks like Lockie George is splitting time between midfield and forward. He's going to be dangerous as a forward, particularly if he can isolate himself. So Bacchus Marsh need to be pretty wary about that.
Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Bacchus Marsh 2-1-13, leading Redan 2 behinds. And the Marsh through Cray, out wide. His kick ill-directed. The Lions spill the mark, opens the door for Bacchus Marsh to go inside 50. The mark taken by Hickman. 40 metres out from goal.
They're just getting value for possession, Wes. They're not overusing it. They're trying to get it in there quickly as possible, one-on-one. Kick it in, forwards isolated, provides opportunities like this, and now a shot on goal. So I think that's the difference between the two teams at the moment. Both have had numerous forward 50 entries, but it's just the efficiency of Bacchus Marsh and the isolation of their forwards that's winning out at the moment.
The Cobras lead by 11 points on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Hickman can extend that margin. He comes in now, 45-degree angle, kicks it up nice and high. It goes the journey. Terrific goal, Bacchus Marsh. They move along to 3-1-19. Redan 2 behinds on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard and just starting to open up a bit of space now, the Cobras.
Yeah, you know, just a bit of a turnaround. You know, Lockie George, he did everything right down there, but just missed his shot on goal. And then all of a sudden it's down the other end. You know, it could be 1 goal, 1-7 to, you know, 2 goals, 1-13. But all of a sudden she's nearly out to a 3-goal margin. So Redan need to start winning the ball at the source here and perhaps just use the ball a little bit better going into the forward 50.
They do seem a little bit hurried, don't they, when they go inside 50? And so often that can be able to be attributed to the pressure provided by the opposition. Bacchus Marsh have certainly been on song. Here's an opportunity for Redan. They're inside 50 now. The ball, it's an awkward sort of bouncing delivery. Good pick up by McKercher. In fact, it was Boyer. Sweeping handball. Snap comes from the boot of Murphy. Doesn't go the journey. Right up against the Redan line. And it's one of those awkward situations where the field umpire is just begging the ball to be rushed over the line. Otherwise, they're going to have to do something like this, which is the ball up just a metre out from the Redan goal.
They just haven't been able to take their half chances lines. They've been close, but you know, they just need to cash in.
Well, that was awkward where Bacchus Marsh didn't seem to go at the footy, but they're actually going to take it away from the last line. Handball comes out from Stooldryer. The Cobras have the numbers. And Eastmuir kicks. And the mark's taken by Owen. So Owen on centre wing. Atchison's really testing the boundaries there with that looping delivery back to Owen. Bacchus Marsh will go inside 50 through Parenti. Ball to the back, taken by the Lions, and the kick comes to Atchison of the Flynn variety. He wants to switch play to the fat side of the ground and does so effectively. Now they'll use the corridor. Dangerous as German cuts it off. German with a short option inside 50 and spots up a teammate. And the mark's taken by Culliver, I suspect it is.
I think it might be Jakey Owen, maybe Wes. But I was just keeping
Oh,
an
it
eye
is,
on him.
yes,
Yeah.
Owen. Yeah.
His work rate then was huge. He sort of ran from the wing down into the forward line to try to put a block on, led back up to the football, and then all of a sudden is on the end of it. Redan's idea was right once again, try and transition ball open up the middle of the ground, but the execution of kick into the middle was a turnover, and that's why Jakey's got a shot on goal.
Subtle angle for Jake Owen. Kicks to the eastern end of City Oval now. Crosses the 50-metre line. The shot on goal is a beautiful kick from Jake Owen. He's got his first. And Bacchus Marsh's fourth. They lead by 23 points on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. It's Bacchus Marsh 4-1-25 leading Redan, just the 2 behinds.
It's just ball error mistakes, Wes, at the moment. That's what it is. I mean, you know, transition from one side to the other side's fine, but you just got to make sure that the connection of the next kick and the one after that's really good, just so you can get into the forward half and put some pressure on the Bacchus Marsh defenders. But look, really at the moment, you know, the pressure from Bacchus Marsh midfielders isn't allowing any clean ball into the Redan forward half.
Porter has 2. Hickman and Owen have a goal apiece for Bacchus Marsh. Redan still searching for their first goal kicker of the game. Ball at ground level. Pack forms around the footy. Handball comes out, but it's cut off by Redan. So the Lions will use the southern side of City Oval. Although that was good defensive pressure there on that occasion by Bacchus Marsh, and a few of the boys want to go on with a little. And in fact, a free kick is going to go the way of the Lions. (4-1-25) plays 2 behinds on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Kick towards 55, taken away once again by Bacchus Marsh. A little too heavily weighted, bounces just before the line, and now to be thrown in front of the Bacchus Marsh bench. "22 minutes have elapsed in our first term in our round 5 Ballarat Toyota match of the day. Nice high throw in by the boundary umpire. Front position is with Hickman. And the ball over the boundary line once again.
Bit of a scuffle down on the Bacchus Marsh forward line there, Wes.
Yeah, a couple of the boys,
Yeah.
just renewing acquaintances with one another. Plenty of open space here at City Oval, and I'm surprised that we haven't seen more switching of play to the fat side of the ground by both sides to try to move the ball forward. Yeah,
it's sort of just been sort of stuck over on that outer wing, and it's been a game that hasn't really opened up to any great degree at the moment. Well,
could have been high. Yes, that's the way the umpire interprets it. And it's going to be Bacchus Marsh from midfield. Owen with the big leap. Ball to ground. Redan cleaning up the crumbs. Jess through the midfield. Uses Barnes. Now Redan on the rebound. What can they conjure up? Bell. Oh, good composure once again by Bacchus Marsh. And they're going to successfully clear via Burton. Nice long kick. In fact, had plenty of carry on that occasion, and just over the top of Hickman, and bounces over the boundary line to be thrown in. So very quick transition there on that occasion by Bacchus Marsh, not wasting any time. It was almost chaos footy.
Yeah, and they're certainly happy to kick long into their forwards, Wes, and I think once again they'll highlighted that. It's just a difference between the two teams.
It's Hickman doing the ruck work up against Dunstan. Little kick forward, bounces just inside of the line, 35 metres around from the Bacchus Marsh goal. Ballarat Toyota scoreboard, Bacchus Marsh 4-1-25, Redan 2 behind. Goal kickers, Porter has 2, Hickman 0 and 1 apiece for the Cobras. Good work by Dunstan, rips it out of the ruck, kicks it forward. The Cobras throw themselves at the footy there on that occasion. That's a misguided handball by Redan. Ball towards the boundary once again. And the boundary umpire comes into play and says that once again they'll come into play and throw the ball in right on centre wing. Burton to the back of the pack. Quick kick forward. Parenti. Redan at defensive 50. Awkward bouncing footy. Oh, they've turned it over. Opportunity opens up for Bacchus Marsh. If Owen can gather possession, he can't. Redan at ground level. Fitzgibbon back inside and finds Jarrett Giampolo.
Really high-risk football in the back half from Redan. They just want to use the handball, and the pressure for Bacchus Marsh is good enough to turn that over.
Giampolo hugs the boundary. The Lions try to keep it in. Jess was the target there from Giampolo. Unfortunately.
Where's the famous name at Redan? Giampolo. Frank Giampolo, who went down and played, I think, with Melbourne and St Kilda, and was a gun in the Ballarat League, so obviously be some relation.
No doubt. Boundary umpire throws it in, fisted away by Burton. Opportunity for Phillips. Kicks towards a one-on-one, and a good mark taken by Jack Williams. He sends it out wide. Now the Marsh inside 50 once again. Owen just worked his man off the footy there on that occasion. Good, strong body.
Well, they're doing it brilliantly, Wes, and the problem now for Redan is that their forwards have been caught behind a couple of times. They're kicking against a breeze, but the ball's probably going to drop a little bit shorter, so they need to take that front position. Bacchus Marsh rebound, and as we've spoken about, they just keep kicking the ball in and giving their forwards a chance in the air, and now have another shot on goal as a result.
Owen kicks one just 6 minutes ago. Once again, a subtle angle. He'll kick from 40. The shot on goal is to the right, just through for one behind. So not quite making the most of his opportunity there. Bacchus Marsh 4-2-26. Lead Redan just the two behinds on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard.
I think right now Redan just need to take the power of the game. And when I talk about that, just mark the football and just take a bit of tempo off the game, a bit of the quick tempo out of the contest.
As far as Bacchus Marsh are concerned, they're just happy with the way in which the game is being played tempo-wise. And they go forward once again. Well, setting himself there on that occasion was Jacob Wirtz, but he copped a heavy sort of contact from Bacchus Marsh in the marking effort, and the ball over the boundary line 5 metres around from the Marsh goal. 4-2 plays 2 behinds.
Redan really need to thicken this stoppage up now. Don't give Bacchus Marsh a chance of having another shot on goal.
They won't want to concede a late one. Plenty of numbers around the football. The Marsh seeking to create some clear space. And a ball up once again.
And that's a great result for Redan. You know, go back to stoppage, reset, make sure everyone's numbered off, and try and get another one or win the ball.
Mass congestion around the football now. There's Dunstan. That was good quick hands by Dunstan. Out to Phillips. Although the kick's ill-directed. Taken by the Marsh. Inside 50. Burton was the target. Handball spills out. Running onto it is McKercher. And not a great result there for Bacchus Marsh. And I suppose what we do need to keep in mind is the fact that whilst the wind doesn't seem to be particularly strong from here, we'll know more at half-time, won't we, whether or not there is any significant advantage to that eastern end of the ground.
Absolutely, and the ball's probably been in that end of the ground 70% of the time, Wes.
Redan wanting to clear it out of the danger zone, and we can see that there is not a player inside the front half for Redan at the moment, as they've certainly pushed numbers back in an effort to just jam this up a little bit and maybe seek to not to concede any further goals this quarter.
Well, absolutely, it's perfect now. Stoppages, just moving the ball forward, not taking any risks, and that's the way they've got to play for the rest of the quarter.
Burton has this one to himself. Double fist down to a teammate. Sky-high kick. 2-on-1 situation. Good take by the Marsh. Siren sounds. 29.5 minutes, the first quarter. And there's going to be a little bit of push and shove on the boundary. Hopefully the boys see that one diffused very quickly. And in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day, the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard says Bacchus Marsh have pretty much had it their way so far. 4-2-26, Redan just the 2 behinds. And Porter has 2 goals. Hickman and Owen 1 apiece, but it's a 24-point spread at quarter time with the Marsh in control.
Yeah, absolutely, Wes. And I think now Redan have got to look to replicate what Bacchus Marsh did in that first quarter. I think they need to isolate their forwards. I think they've just got to kick the ball in there and get it into dangerous areas, not go too wide. They tended to just overuse the ball coming out of the back half, I felt. I think this quarter, what they got to do, take some risks, reward some run from behind. But look, if you can get that ball in deep and long to dangerous areas, that's certainly the way that I'd be going if I was coaching Redan. I think Bacchus Marsh just played it really well. They just had, numerous players coming off their players to help defend in the air. They kicked along into key forwards. Jakey Owen got on the end of a few, and then their smalls got really busy, Wes, and they were really important. And Ryland Porter, he kicked 2 goals in the first 5 or 6 minutes, and it was just every time the ball hit the deck, it was just busy, and it was dangerous busy. So Redan, they're just going to have to reassess. I think they need to basically take the template of what Bacchus Marsh did and try and put that into their own style this quarter.
Would we find that there's been a little bit too much action in that southeastern pocket over there, and the necessity to try to attack that eastern goal using this side of the ground, the grandstand side of the ground?
Yeah, and I can't see anything wrong with that. I don't think the breeze is really pushing across the ground as such. It's probably pushing, down into that pocket. But I think perhaps come the grandstand side or come through the middle if it's on, and then just get the ball into a key forward. The move I did like, and it hasn't paid dividends yet, was Lockie George spitting forward for Redan. I would nearly, isolate him just one out and play him as that small mid forward and see what he can do, because, one-on-one, he's a great player.
We're going to take a break here at quarter time in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day. The Ballarat Toyota scoreboard says that quarter time, it's a 24-point margin enjoyed by Bacchus Marsh. 4-2-26, leading Redan, just the 2 behinds.
As proud sponsors of the Ballarat Football Netball League, we love supporting local.
And love community sport, and we encourage everyone to get out there, support your local football and netball league, and of course, support local business.
Welcome back to City Oval for the Ballarat Toyota match of the day. The Ballarat Toyota scoreboard indicates that it's been Bacchus Marsh 4-2-26 all over Redan to this point. Just the two behinds, so a 4-goal margin. And as I did mention during the course of that first term, Brett Henderson, I just suspect that we can have a true picture of what's going on in this game at halftime when we've seen both sides kick to the eastern end of the ground. But it's a little bit misleading, the breeze, because it's the trees are certainly moving, but it's not clearly evident that it's a massive advantage to the eastern end.
No, but if Redan hit the scoreboard quickly here, I'm sure it would send a little bit of panic into the Bacchus Marsh team.
Dunstan and Burton. And look at Burton's work around the ground. Gets the first kick away inside 50 once again. Opportunity for Shea. And now the pack forms over the footy. Flynn Atchison is amongst the action, hands the footy back to the umpire. 40 metres out from the Bacchus Marsh goal. Burton once again, big left fist. Opportunity for the Marsh, a kick towards the goal square, and the boundary umpire comes into play and says you ran out of tarmac, and we'll see the ball thrown in some 20 metres around from the Bacchus Marsh goal, just in front of our scoreboard.
Ball already living in the Bacchus Marsh forward half, so a bit of a concern for Redan.
Dunstan palms it down. I was up against Hickman there on that occasion, and the ball over the boundary line once again.
The ball's almost been here for a minute now. Repeat stoppage, building pressure on the Redan defenders. So, scoring opportunity could present for Bacchus Marsh.
Opportunity for Redan to clear, although the hurried kick once again, they're always pressured coming out of defence and they turn it over. It's Jason Robinson, sends his side back in, side 50, 25 metres out from goal. The Lions take possession. Well, and the umpire pings him and says you had prior opportunity, and it's going to be a Bacchus Marsh shot on goal.
There's a bit of a chaotic kick in, and those kicks in make it really difficult to defend. And once again, one of the smaller forwards for Bacchus Marsh has done their work at ground level, got busy, and as a result, are going to have a shot on goal. And we spoke about Redan having a shot on goal and hitting the scoreboard early and putting a bit of doubt in Bacchus Marsh's mind. Well, I don't think this is going to do the morale of the Redan side much good if he goes back and puts this one through the middle.
So Ethan Bacchus has got the Michael Holding run-up in his approach to this one. He's kicking to the western end of City Oval. He did mark about 5 metres short. His kick on goal, and his teammates flood to him. They all go to him, Hendo, as Ethan Bacchus kicks his first goal of the game.
A very popular figure, so I'd imagine it could be the maybe even the young boy's first game. He's slightly built. He looks like he probably needs to fill out a little bit, but look, that was a great kick. But he got the result because he worked so hard at ground level and just putting pressure on the Redan defenders. So I'm sure that's given everyone a bit of a buzz.
Indeed, it's Bacchus Marsh 5-2-32, leading Redan just the two behinds on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Hope you're enjoying our Ballarat Toyota match of the day for round 5, coming to you live from City Oval. Wes Cusworth and Brett Henderson in commentary as the pack forms over the football. Yeah, I suspect from that reaction that that might have been Ethan's first goal in senior company.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing more exciting than doing that. I don't know how old he is, but he's only a young boy, and I'm sure it would have been a thrill.
It's going to go the way of the Marsh once again. And they're all over Redan right at the moment. Kick comes from King. Carries the journey on that occasion over the top of the pack, and then with the leg break, it actually was headed towards the points and then went over the boundary line, which is probably a good result for Bacchus Marsh, locking it inside 50.
Yeah, I'm sure Redan defenders would love just a bit of a spell from having to be on their toes like this.
That was Hickman front position, took the ball out of the ruck, had his kick smothered. Pack forms once again, and the umpire says we'll have a ball up 15 metres out from the Bacchus Marsh goal.
And they'd be thrilled with this Bacchus Marsh. They're getting repeat opportunities.
Clearing kick from Daniel Bond. And in fact, he kicks a little too heavily there on that occasion. He was looking out for the boundary, but it carried the journey. Opportunity for the Marsh as they go inside 50 once again. Tyler Hoon almost got the kick there, trying to clear his Bond into dangerous territory if, in fact, that's what happens, which is Jake Owen gathering possession of the football. But fortunately for Redan, they're able to force the spillage and the ball over the boundary line, 25 metres around from the Bacchus Marsh goal. 5-2-32 plays just the two behinds. Goal kickers, Porter has 2, Hickman, Owen and McKercher. 1 apiece for Bacchus Marsh. Free kick paid to the Marsh.
And so this is what happens, Wes. You get those repeat stoppages, pressure keeps building, all right, and all of a sudden the Redan defenders are really on edge, and they get sick of defending. They're under pressure and they make poor decisions. I just think they need to be able to find the first mark in the defensive zone and just slow the game out and then work their way out by foot.
Daniel Burton, 45-degree angle, will kick from 45. He comes in now, the left footer, the shot on goal is starting and finishing left of the goal scoring zone over the boundary line on the full. So not a great result for Daniel Burton. But I must say he's been very, very prominent today, and one of the key reasons why Bacchus Marsh holds this 30-point advantage early in the second term.
He's just giving them a lot of grunt around the ball. He's working really hard. He's leading the way. He's doing all the hard things, and I'm sure he's inspiring some of his teammates.
All the lines through Atchison thought to come to this crossing across the face of goal, who wisely chose not to. Opportunity for Robinson inside 50. Mark Spilt, taken by Matthews. Dispossessed. The Marsh, first to the footy once again. Handball out. Heavy tackle. Umpire will intervene 25 metres out from the Cobras' goal.
But once again, they're just building again. They're knocking the ball on. They're keeping the ball alive. And Redan really feeling the heat in the back half.
Yeah, they're really, really having to resist, aren't they, Redan? You can just sort of sense that there might be some floodgates involved here.
Absolutely.
Ball thrown up again between the big fellas. Taken by the Cobras. That won't have travelled the necessary distance. Quick kick comes from the boot of Hickman. A lot of right to left about that. It did seem to curl around and over the boundary line once again to be thrown. No, in fact, a free kick on the full.
Well, this is a replay of a couple of minutes ago where Redan kicked long down the line, and whilst that can be pretty safe, you're not going to get a scoring opportunity from it. And Bacchus Marsh are really well drilled. Tom German's making sure his numbers are over there and outnumbering Redan players. So, yeah, it's a tough one for Redan at the moment.
Atchison. Good long kick, clears the ball out of the defensive zone. And as the pack forms, the umpire will get involved once again on centre wing, southern side of the ground.
The kick long's not a bad idea, but they've got to have representation at the back of the contest, Wes. And that's what Bacchus Marsh are doing really well to stop the ball going forward for Redan.
So Burton took the ball out of the ruck there on that occasion and was dispossessed of the football. Didn't dispose of appropriately, and so as a consequence it's going to be Redan with possession. Real up and under, kick towards half forward. The big leap came from the Lions, and the umpire deemed that the hand was in the back. So Jason Robinson will be the recipient of the free kick at left half back. Number of left footers in this Bacchus Marsh lineup. Might be something in the water in Moorabool Shire as Redan cut it off. Just the defensive side of centre. Now they'll use the City Oval wing on the grandstand side of the ground, although misguided once again as Culliver takes the mark. He moves the ball forward. A big leap there was from Eastmuir, but in fact it carried him. Here's McKercher. McKercher by hand. Building now. Eastmuir kicks towards the goal square. Oh, Mark Spilt by the Lions. Needed to do better than that. And eventually finding the refuge of the boundary line and over some 10 metres around. So not a bad recovery there on that occasion by Daniel Bond after spilling a mark that he should have taken, but at least he was able to negate any sort of great advantage for Bacchus Marsh.
I think Lockie George has decided to take the game on for Redan. I just like what he did. I know they fell down on the wing, but I like the fact that there was something different.
Well, it was a genuine attempt, wasn't it, to try to be creative. The quick snap comes from the Marsh. They progress by just the one behind. 5-3-33, Bacchus Marsh lead Redan, just the two behinds on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard.
We really need someone to break here from this congestion for Redan and just get a mark and not just kick long to a contest.
Now the Lions use the grandstand side of the ground.
And that's it. That's exactly what they want, okay? They've got the power of the game. They can make the decisions now, the tempo, and they get the next mark.
Lockie McLean finds Isaac Grant at left half back. Yeah, they just need to change the nature of the game, don't they?
Absolutely.
Grant kicks towards centre wing. Taken by Hickman. Spills the ball out to the advantage of Robinson. He wants to go back inside the corridor. Awkward bouncing football on that occasion and deemed to be high.
Well, the last two times where they've been able to at least get the ball to the wing and give their defenders a chance to set up behind the football.
Serafino Cray inside 50, too heavily weighted. Cut off by Wirtz. Might be a bit of space on that southern side of the ground. Wirtz kicks to the advantage of Matthews, although the boundary looms large, and the ball to be thrown in just to the left of the scoreboard.
Yeah, just slow down, you know, like a bit of a slower kick and get that mark out the other side. I'm not being critical, but I just think everything's just too gung-ho at the moment coming out of defence for Redan.
I think Bacchus Marsh are happy to move the ball quickly and to create that chaos sort of football, but I'm not sure that Redan can pull it off if they're trying to replicate that sort of thing, can they?
No, not at the moment. And, you know, Bacchus Marsh got, you know, one player playing behind the ball. So, you know, Redan are really going to have to transition well.
Burton kicks it out of mid-air, and the mark taken by Bacchus Marsh.
And Jake Owen's becoming a real thorn in their side. He's marking most things that are coming his way. He's a great kick, set shot. He's kicked, you know, a goal already, and now lining up for his second, Wes.
Jake Owen kicked a goal at the 21-minute mark of the first term. And no angle at all. He'll kick from 40 metres out to the western end of City Oval. It's a nice kick off the boot, although there's a lot of right to left about it, and he misses through for another behind. So just a touch wasteful there on that occasion, the Marsh. They move along to 5-4-34. Redan 2 behinds on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard.
Well, the thing for Redan is if they can kick a couple of goals, they're right in the game. You know, they're not out of this by any.
Well, I think the Marsh haven't really capitalised on their opportunities this quarter, which has just kept the door ajar for Redan.
That's right. And look, they got the mark there, but they've gone quick again. And all of a sudden, it's, you know, it's chaos.
Which is exactly how Bacchus Marsh like it.
Yeah, just slow it down, kick your way out, and I'm sure then they can get some entries into their forward line and make Bacchus Marsh actually defend.
Plenty of congestion in the Bacchus Marsh 50. Dunstan, almost a fresh air shot there on that occasion. Buried. Was that a free kick to Redan? No, in fact, it's gone the other way, so it was deemed not to have disposed appropriately. Kick inside 50. Owen, first to the footy. Got one hand to it, couldn't haul it in. Boundary looms large. Players get to the contest. It's a 2-on-1 situation with the double tackle by Redan. 5-4-34 plays 2 behinds on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. We have gone some 13 and a half minutes into our second term here in the Ballarat Toyota match of the day at City Oval. Dunstan, sweeping handball, but to no great advantage. Here's the Marsh with a little bit of space in which to move. Quick snap on goal is to the left once again. So, in fact, a lot of kicks are ending up in that area, 5 to 10 metres to the left of the left behind post.
Absolutely, and see, they've played on again by hands, and now it's going to be another turnover. So this is something they've really got to correct, and I don't want to harp on about it.
They just need to control the possession a little more, Redan. 25 metres out from the Bacchus Marsh goal, and the game's been entirely played in the Bacchus Marsh forward 50.
And Redan has still a chance of winning the game if they can just start hitting the scoreboard, but it's not looking promising at the moment.
Atchison, he's battling really hard in the last line of defence, although on this occasion he's been pinged prior opportunity. And Tom German, the recipient. And we are going to have a great angle to view this one. Chance do you give him here, Hendo?
Oh, he's a good player, Wes. I'm nearly going to back him in here. It is a tight angle.
Right goalpost?
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely right goalpost.
German kicks from 40. Beautiful kick off the boot. He salutes and gains the applause of his teammates and the Bacchus Marsh supporters in attendance here at City Oval as the Cobras move along to 6-4-40 and Redan just the 2 behinds on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard.
You don't sort of tend to see many playing coaches, or as many as you used to, Wes, but look, if you're a playing coach and you can go back and kick a goal like that and certainly really extend that lead, perhaps into a match-winning lead, it's fantastic leadership, and that was a great goal.
Sets a great example to your teammates when you execute like that. Back in the middle of City Oval. It's a 38-point advantage enjoyed by the visitors right at the moment. So the task is ahead of Redan. They go inside 50 on this occasion. Can they pull one back quickly? Keep themselves in this contest, because there's a real sense of things starting to slip away from the Lions. 45 metres out from Redan's goal. Fisted away by Burton. Redan's got the numbers. There's Dunstan, dispossessed of the footy. Throwing himself at the contest was Porter. So too his teammate in Will Cook. Although the Lions have won themselves a free kick, and the recipient's going to be Lincoln Barnes. Barnes, a left footer, sees the lead, but it's the Cobras getting numbers back, and Riley Stooldryer takes the mark. Switches play.
They just need to isolate their forwards there, Wes. Once again, all sort of collapsing in on each other. Just easy for Bacchus Marsh to defend.
Is that a lack of communication?
Yeah, probably, and perhaps just not knowing each other's structure. It's certainly communication.
Just not holding shape?
No, and you know, if you isolate defenders, they get a bit nervous.
So the Marsh progressing using the City Oval southern wing. Attacking side of centre wing, coming inside the corridor now. Oh, that's good work by Atchison. He's battled on well. Now the Lions, what can they build? They have it defensive side of centre. The runner almost getting, well, the water boy almost getting run over there on that occasion. Here's Harvey. Harvey swings around to the right, kicks long. Now he's got a one-on-one situation, and marking 15 metres out from goal, Redan with their first legitimate opportunity for a set shot.
And this is a matchup I spoke about, Wes. Get Lockie George down there, isolate him, get the ball into him, and you're going to hit the scoreboard.
Lockie George kicks the goal. The Lions have got their first. They are 1-8. They trail Bacchus Marsh 6-4-40 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Exactly what the Lions needed to do to avoid this game slipping away from them further.
You're probably robbing Peter to pay Paul, really, Wes. You know, you're taking Lockie George out of the midfield, but I think genuinely he's a guy that can kick you 4 or 5 goals. And you can just isolate him down there. His strength, his game sense, you know, he's a real competitor. He's a guy that could actually really turn this game, but they need to isolate him.
18 minutes gone in the second quarter, and that's providing a little bit of hope for the Redan supporters in attendance and also watching via the live stream. You're with Wes Cusworth and Brett Henderson, hoping that you're enjoying the coverage today coming to you live from City Oval. Could have been a high tackle there as Cooper Atchison's taken to ground. Umpire says it was okay, and we'll have a ball up as the clock ticks over the 19-minute mark of this second term. There's Burton once again, rips it out of the rut, swings around onto his customary left boot, kicks it forward. Awkward bouncing footy, taken by German. Inside 50, good mark. Taken by Rex Hickman. And now he'll settle back over the footy and have a shot on goal from 45.
Well, I was just about to say Redan have sort of stemmed the bleeding a little bit, but it's not ideal when you kick a goal and then within sort of a minute or so the opposition are having another shot on goal. Hopefully for Redan's sake he doesn't kick this one, but if he does, it's a bit deflating.
Hickman. Not a great kick. A real up and under, falling well short of distance. Taken to ground was McDougall, and the umpire intervenes 25 metres out from the Marsh goal. Just an unfortunately poor connection there on that occasion, I suspect. Here's the Lions. And the ball over the boundary line, some 60 metres around from the Bacchus Marsh goal.
But I love this forward line set up for Redan now. You know, Lockie George is the only man for Redan forward of half forward. So you've just got to win these stoppages.
Dunstan and Burton continue to go at it. Pack forms over the footy. Good tackle by Redan, winning themselves a free kick. And that's Isaac Grant. Moves the ball into centre field. Opportunity for Harvey. Harvey sells a bit of candy. Well, George went to ground. And unfortunately, that opened the door for Bacchus Marsh. Sweeping handball from Atchison. Back to Harvey. .30 metres out from the Lions' goal, and we're going to have another ball up.
All right, so open this stoppage up, get someone to flick through, hopefully get a shot on goal. You know, right back in the game then.
George doing the ruck work inside 50, snap on goal, misses to the right. Just the behind.
Perfect execution of the stoppage there, Wes. You know, it was just the finish. But there are some promising signs for Redan just the last 2 or 3 minutes. But they just need to kick a couple of goals before half-time, just to give them a bit of hope.
Ballarat Toyota scoreboard indicates Bacchus Marsh 6-4-40, leading Redan 1-3-9. Long kick and a good mark taken by the Marsh at left half back.
You know, Redan really need to bring that ball to ground, just put pressure again on Bacchus Marsh. But it looks like Jakey Owens flicked himself behind the play here. There's a bit of insurance against the Lockie George set up for Redan.
Bacchus Marsh continuing to progress. They have the ball between half forward and centre wing in front of the Redan bench.
Yeah, a few mind games going on down there in that back half for Bacchus Marsh at the moment.
Redan take possession, wrapped up in the tackle. Umpire says we'll have yet another ball up.
And I talk about that. Jakey Owens taking himself all the way from the forward line and just put himself as a spare down back for a couple of minutes. And it certainly confused the Redan forward half.
And I think what they're recognising too is that as we tick over the 23-minute mark of this second quarter, that Bacchus Marsh know full well they just don't want to concede in the latter stages of this term. And there is Jake Owen taking the mark, 45 metres out from goal, runs around onto the right, kicks it high towards a one-on-one in the goal square, and the mark taken. Well, that's a good, strong mark by Daniel Burton, and he's been such a great player whilst on the ball, and now he's moved forward. Just a bit of resting time up forward, and when you've got a player of his calibre that can take a mark like that and now have a set shot on goal from just 15 metres out, it spells real danger. He kicks, and he kicks truly, and now the margin stretches back out to 37 points as Bacchus Marsh move along to 7-4-46, leading Redan 1-3-9 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard.
Jake Owen's been terrific, Wes, and so has Burton, and they're the two for me. Like, they've just been amazing players as far as work rate goes. And look, I really feel for young Flynn Atchison, you know, like he's worked really hard for Redan defensively, but he was just caught out against a bigger person, and unfortunately he didn't have any help and got found out deep.
He has battled on really, really well, Flynn, but the reality is the ball's just down there so constantly that he's under enormous pressure. The Marsh go forward once again. Little kick by Shea, falls a touch short of his teammate. Sweeping handball comes from LaFranchi. Heavy tackle there by Harrison King. Called the play on. The Lions go forward. Front position was with Murphy, but it's going to be LaFranchi sweeps it out wide to Robinson. Now Robinson, spots up a man. That's McKercher in midfield. And McKercher in turn comes out wide. The foot race is on. The Lions need to round him up now, but the sweeping handball from Riley Stooldryer. Eastmuir. Oh, good tackle. And Redan able to play onto advantage, although the kick's a little wide. Gee, that was a really good tackle there on that occasion by Daniel Bond.
Great tackle, but take the free kick and then find the spare instead of playing on and perhaps kicking out in full.
Yeah, it was a little hurried.
Yeah.
Ball to ground. Almost a good pick up there on that occasion by Tyson Shea. Gee, if he grabbed that first time, he was away.
They're just so good at ground level, Bacchus Marsh, particularly when the ball goes forward. But, you know, look, Redan just trying to stabilise things at the moment, but Bacchus Marsh keep pushing.
Ball thrown in. Hickman up against Dunstan. Lockie George is everywhere right at the moment. Up forward, down back, doing what he has to try to get his side going. The Marsh go to ground and absolutely beset upon by a number of Redan players. We close in on half-time here in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day. The Ballarat Toyota scoreboard says 7-4-46 plays, 1-3-9. Declan Phillips puts it into the path of his teammate in Cooper Atchison. Atchison swings around to the left. That's a good kick and finds Declan Phillips, who moves it on, and that's better football by Redan.
That was so much better. Really good. Came back in through the midfield. Just a bit of pace around the football. Cooper Atchison used the ball really well, and they got a bit of connection.
Declan Murphy really needs to kick this goal. Directly in front, will kick from 35. The shot on goal is straight over the goal umpire's hat. And the Lions have got their second goal. They move along to 2-3-15, trailing Bacchus Marsh 7-4-46 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard in the shadows of halftime.
I just think they kicked a bit better than Wes. Like, they didn't overuse the hands. They got the ball into a one-on-one. Bacchus Marsh weren't able to get the numbers back. And just that quicker movement of the football by foot seemed to pay dividends. And yeah, nearly 28 minutes gone, but gee, if they could steal another one and bring that margin, you know, back to 4 goals, you know, it gives them a bit of hope at halftime.
Yeah, absolutely. Game on. They'd go in with great momentum if they were able to pinch one now. They trail by 31 points, and here they go, an opportunity to go forward once again. Inside 50, they need a mark.
Gee, Lockie George is really starting to up his work rate, and as a result, you know, just starting to change the game a little bit.
Marsh at centre half back. The mark's taken by Parente. Sends it out wide. Puts it into the path of Hun. Good contest. Redan win it and come back in board, and the mark's taken by Barnes. Moving it on quickly. Better football by Redan. Almost a mark taken by Murphy. No free kick paid. Ball goes to ground. Jess working hard. Taken by LaFranchi. The Marsh clear to the outer side of the ground, and probably happy to find the refuge of the boundary because they've been under pressure for the last few minutes, Bacchus Marsh.
It's been much better from Redan. Some really good system moving the football. You know, handball run from behind, deeper kick to an isolated forward, and just a little bit unlucky that it didn't come off that time.
7-4 plays 2-3. 31 points separate the two sides, and another boundary throw in on centre wing, southern side of the ground.
I just think Redan need another mid that can really start, you know, going along with Lockie George. You know, starting to work with Lockie, try and get on top around these stoppages.
He's the sort of guy that you'd love to have quite a few of him out there.
And he just won that last stoppage too, you know, just running through the stoppage with momentum. And I think he's had enough of what Bacchus Marsh have been dishing out to him and Redan.
It's what you want to see from senior players, is just taking it upon themselves to make that difference. Better intensity from Redan. And a little bit more, probably a little more deliberate.
Yeah, and they just seem to want the ball more in their hands. You know, I don't know if a few of them started to get a few touches, get their confidence up. But certainly starting to challenge a little bit more.
What they won't want to do is concede another Bacchus Marsh goal here in the shadows of half-time. They win it at right half-back. The Lions will use that southern side of the ground, long kick. Though you'd probably prefer to see them play possession football to this point in time.
Absolutely, Wes. Just too easy for Bacchus Marsh to rebound that.
The Marsh with an opportunity now through Culliver. They go inside 50. Front position was Burton. Ball to ground. Sweeping handball over the top. McKirch is in the action. Overruns the footy on this occasion. Tackled without the football was Shea. Ball spills out. Taken by Dean Matthews. And his kick is a little misguided. Falls only so far as Cray. He retreats with the footy. Now inside 50 again. Bacchus Marsh. And the mark taken. And that's our boy, Ethan McKircher.
Well, I think he's been really impressive, Wes. I think he's probably had 6 or 7 possessions this quarter. I've been really impressed with his use of footy by hand. His last shot on goal was absolutely perfect. And he's probably not in a really dissimilar position, just a little bit towards the other side of the ground.
He's got a good skill set, Ethan McKircher. He kicked a goal to begin this second term, and he could kick another goal to end the second term and extend the margin out to 37 points. He comes in now. This will do a great deal for Bacchus Marsh if he kicks it now. He comes in, kicks from 40, and may have just scraped the post for a behind. So on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard, Bacchus Marsh 7-5-47, lead Redan 2-3-15, 32-point leaders. Bacchus Marsh at the main break. And we will shortly take the McCafe half-time break. But Brett Henderson, your assessment of the game so far after I just expressed the fact that Porter's kicked 2 goals, singles to each of Hickman, Owen, McKircher, German and Burton.
Look, Bacchus Marsh have controlled most of the game. I just think the last 7 or 8 minutes for Dan looked so much better. So I think for them there's a bit of hope at half-time. Like they're going to have to change the way they play coming out of the back half. I just think, it's a bit of pinball football. They perhaps just need to slow it down, get control of the game. Bacchus Marsh always looking dangerous when going forward. I think Jakey Owen and certainly Burton have just been unbelievable up there. But if they're not marking it, their smalls are getting to the fall of the ball. And not only that, if Redan win it defensively, their smalls are harassing, pressuring, as good small forwards should be doing. So certainly some hope for Redan. I wouldn't say they're totally out of it, but I just think they've got to change the way they bring that ball out of the back half. Lockie George is going to be a big key for them. I just thought once again that his last 7 or 8 minutes corresponded with his whole team's 7 or 8 minutes. His work rate went up a notch, and that certainly started to make a bit of a difference. He started to, drag a few along, with him, on the ride.
Quarter time, Bacchus Marsh led by 24 points. At half time, they lead by 32. 7-5-47 to Redan's 2-3-15 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. This is the Ballarat Toyota match of the day, round 5 contest between Bacchus Marsh and Redan. We'll be back on the other side of our McCafe halftime break.
The effects of gambling ads on kids is becoming clear.
Young men, aged between 18 and 24,
now make up a third of all sports bettors in Victoria.
And participation by young women is rising.
They're the first generation to grow up with so many ads.
It's not right that kids think it's normal to bet on sports.
So our clubs all say no to sports betting sponsorship.
We may come from different sporting codes.
All run out as rivals.
But on this, we stand united. We call on you to make a game plan.
Talk to your kids about the risks of sports betting.
Encourage your kids to love the game and not the odds.
Welcome back to City Oval for the round 5 Ballarat Toyota match of the day with Wes Cusworth and Brett Henderson. Bacchus Marsh 7-5, 47, 32-point leaders over Redan 2-3-15, and we do need to see a different Lions outfit in the second half, Brett.
Yeah, we do, Wes, and I just popped in and listened to the coach of Redan, and very impressive what he said, but he just said he doesn't want to see them kicking long down the line. He wants them to open up on the 45, try and get through the corridor. He doesn't want to see them, transitioning the ball backwards. He just wants them to take the game on. And he said, look, we're going to play it in blocks of 10 minutes. All right, and let's see what we can do. We're going to stop them scoring, try and hit the scoreboard ourselves.
Does your coach's card gain you access to every club room in Australia, does it? No. I didn't realise that membership card was quite as powerful as clearly it is.
Just sneak in, Wes, and try and have a bit of a listen every now and then. You always pick up something good no matter where you go.
You're almost wearing the Redan coloured jacket, I might add, today.
Well, I only need the yellow line on it. I'd be there.
You would be. Here we go with the second half action as Dunstan up against Burton. This time it's Dunstan winning it down, but it's going to be taken away by the Marsh. Riley Stilldryer puts it out wide. Could have been a hold. Will Cook. In fact, it's gone the other way. So it's gone the way of Redan, and umpire says you've got to go back around over your mark. And the Lions will have it at left half back. It is always fun listening to coaches and listening to other coaches when you maybe don't have quite the pressure of the game on you, just to hear what they've got to say.
Absolutely, Wes, and unfortunately for coaches, they're judged on what they say pre-game, quarter-time, half-time, three-quarter time and after the game. There's a lot of other things that go into it.
Yeah, indeed. The Lions go forward. They use the corridor on this occasion. Ball spills out, and the umpire has pulled out a free kick. And it's going to go the way of Ethan McKercher. McKercher plays on. Oh, spots a man in a bit of space. That's Tom German, who works it out wide to the advantage of Culliver. He's not able to get the footy away, and as a consequence, it's going to go the way of the Lions. They use the grandstand side of the ground, and the mark's taken by Isaac Grant, one of the youngsters for Redan. Coming in board now.
And there's that kick that Jared Giampolo spoke about at half-time. He was really impressive the way he emphasised that message, and great to see the players put that into play. And this could provide them with a good chance to hit the scoreboard early.
Cooper Atchison, a shot on goal. It's across the face to the left and through for a behind. So a little more productive by Redan there. Looked a little more promising, didn't it? Absolutely,
and Giampolo would be wrapped with that. They've listened to the instruction. They've done it as he's asked. And obviously he knows the game, and it's provided them a shot on goal, but unfortunately just went to the left.
Jack Williams plays on and kicks long. Redan win it back. Oh, awkward sort of kick. Dunstan was the intended target, but it carried him. It's taken by Cooper Atchison, and his kick inside 50. Oh, there's going to be a 50-metre penalty, I suspect. Yeah, that was unnecessary.
Not ideal, Wes, when you're starting to build some pressure. And Redan have started the quarter really well, and now they've just given the ball back.
Riley still dry, sends his side inside 50. Flynn Atchison, he's grabbed without possession.
Both the Atchison boys have been terrific today, I think, Wes. Cooper started this quarter really well.
Switching, which I'd like to see a little bit more of from Redan. And I suppose, once again, that's... Well, they're going to switch back to the other side of the ground. So Jacob Wirtz spots up a teammate. At least they're going to create a little bit of space this way, which is exactly what the coach's message was.
Absolutely, Wes, and they're starting to even up the possession. Like Bacchus Marsh, the first quarter and a half, just had so much possession, but now Redan are really starting to equalise that.
Daniel Bond.
They just need more movement.
Or a bit of an up and under. It does open up the contest there for the Marsh to get across and to provide some support for their defenders, and the ball fisted over the boundary line. The Cobras 7-5-47, leading the Lions 2-4-16, just 4 minutes into this third term in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day for round 5.
That was good from Kai Jess. Just bought an extra 20 metres for Redan. That's what it's about, territory game.
Well, it certainly is, particularly in close contests that are often decided by a matter of points. Sometimes, as we know from any given Sunday, it's about inches.
It is, absolutely, Wes.
Does every coach ever use use excerpts from that movie to try to make their point? I suspect they do.
Well, I know if you go back to the Golden Valley, Stephen Daniels at Seymour, and they won 3 premierships in a row, use that as a real theme.
Yeah, territory game.
And he's no slouch as a coach, as he's actually coaching Southport in the VFL at the moment.
Oh,
so
and they are travelling very, very nicely in the VFL competition.
Absolutely. And success tends to follow him. I know we're at a Ballarat League game, but he won premierships at both Seymour and Tatura, and could have Southport on track to win one in the VFL in only their second year in the competition.
Yes, of course, quite a number of Ballarat Football Netball League players do progress through to VFL ranks, and we know that it is very relevant competition. As we made mention earlier, Nick Stilldry is actually not playing today because he's having a run with Port Melbourne tomorrow. Heavy tackle on centre wing, southern side of the ground. Bit of push and shove developing between players from both sides. 47 plays 16. Palm down by Burton. Sky-high kick comes from Owen. Awkward bouncing footy. Redan defenders under enormous pressure, and high tackle.
And a bad injury over there to a Redan player. It looks like he's popped his shoulder, but I just can't see who it was, and I'm hoping it's not Lockie George.
Yeah, it doesn't look too good at all. Keep an
And
eye
it's
on
not.
that one.
It's certainly not Lockie George.
Here's an opportunity for the Lions opening up. Jess swings onto the left into the corridor. Awkward bouncing footy. Going one way, then the other. That was Marty Boyer. And dispossessed. And will ultimately hand the footy back.
No damage done on the scoreboard yet for Redan, and that's what they spoke about at half-time, Wes. And they just look a whole lot better. But they've got to really cash in.
Cook. Oh, knocked after he kicks. It's down the ground. It's a little unnecessary and ill-disciplined. So Ethan McKercher will have it at left half-back. McKercher. Well, the intended target was Jake Owen. Had hands on the footy. Couldn't hold on to it. Battling hard at ground level is Ryland Porter. And the umpire intervenes.
It's going to be interesting, Wes. Bacchus Marsh had the week off last week, so 2 weeks since they've played. I don't know who it's going to affect. Are they going to be fresher, or are Redan going to be much better, as far as being hardened for the contest.
Well, a lot of sides don't like time off, do they? They like to keep up the match time momentum.
Yep.
Veldon taken over the line. Wasn't too pleased with Lockie McLean in that instance, but Lockie McLean did well.
I think this game's just changed a little bit, Wes. We probably saw it in that last 7 or 8 minutes before half-time. But now they just really need to get the result on the scoreboard.
Lockie McLean sends it towards the corridor, 20 out from goal. Good mark taken by Grant Bell. Strong work.
Well, Bell goes back and kicks this. You're 25 points down. 8 minutes into the third quarter. The game's swinging back to being really winnable.
Grant Bell shot on goal is, well, the Bacchus Marsh players have indicated they think it's struck the post. The umpires confer. Field umpire, boundary umpire, 2 boundary umpires come into play. Have a chat to the goal umpire.
Well,
the Bacchus Marsh players were pretty adamant right from the outset, weren't they?
And I did think I saw a deflection, and
it is behind.
Just a missed opportunity, big opportunity lost for Redan. They're just got to keep pushing here, Wes.
2-5-17 Redan. They trail Bacchus Marsh 7-5-47. It's 5 straight kicks separate the two sides on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. The Marsh taken to ground, trying to burst through the pack. There is the Lions. There's Jess. Handball to a player in space. Fitzgibbon, and spots up a teammate in Isaac Grant. Moves it on very quickly. Good, rapid movement of the football as McLean it is.
And a 52, Wes. So it's going to be a certain goal. They've almost reversed the way that they were playing. They were playing that fast style in the back half in the first half, and now all of a sudden they're getting the ball forward, and they said, okay, let's roll, let's go, let's get in there quickly, let's get into a one-on-one, and Jess has been pretty lively this quarter, and this is game on.
Sure is, as Lachlan McLean kicks his first goal of the game and brings Redan along to 3-5-23. They trail by 24 points. Bacchus Marsh 7-5-47, but still to register a score in this second quarter. That's, of course, on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard in our Round 5 Ballarat Toyota match of the day.
Well, Redan really wanted to win this first 10 minutes of the quarter, and we're almost at that mark. So you would say they're on top at the moment.
Dunstan, sweeping handball into space. Oh, crash, bang, players collide. Getting a kick away there was Will Cook. Awkward bouncing football. Running onto it was Parente. His handball was setting a real task for Eastmuir. Now Redan. Grant Bell, clever tap on to Jess. Jess to the corridor. Diving mark. Terrific mark by the Lions.
They are out hunting them at the moment. They've listed their intensity around the contest. Now, I reckon a couple of times in this quarter, Kai Jess has wheeled onto that left foot and just kicked it to that position of most opportunity and been able to get, Bell's been able to get on the end of a couple.
Marty Boyer. Critical shot on goal, directly in front. Will kick from 30 metres. He comes in now to the western end, a left footer. It is through for a behind. Wasted opportunity for the Lions. Bacchus Marsh, 7-5-47. Redan, 3-6-24.
Oh, they just seem to have more run at the moment, Redan.
Big leap came from Burton. Ball falls to the back of the pack. Handball. Oh, sets a task for a Bacchus Marsh teammate. And Redan looking a lot better in this second half. Just got a little bit of pep about their step. And grabbed around the ankles, the recipient of the free kicks, Declan Phillips. Handball's off to Jess. He's been instrumental in a number of forward forays. Over the top of Bell. Going to ground was Boyer. Bell's there again. Ball over the boundary line, 20 metres around from the scoring zone. Well, I reckon Kai Jess has actually given a real bit of life to Redan, hasn't he, in this third term?
Well, he has, and the other forwards have jumped on board as well, whereas they look a lot more lively. They're just hunting the football. They're presenting, and they're taking risks. It's paying off.
Burton front position. Palms the ball down. He'll win it back by hand. Good build up by Bacchus Marsh as they bring it outside defensive 50. Oh, great gather by the Marsh. Crash bang. Harrison King eventually moving forward. There's the one-on-one situation taken by Hickman. Hands off to a teammate. The kick inside 50. Really good rapid ball movement there on that occasion by the Marsh. And the mark's taken by Jake Owen.
I just think that when you've got the opportunity to tackle someone, you tackle them instead of bumping them. And I know the idea is right and it's hard in the moment, but just to wrap that footy up. And Jake Owen, he just seems to be able to step up every time, you know, that they're being challenged. And no wonder he's the captain of the Bacchus Marsh Footy Club because he's got some great leadership attributes.
Well, he's got a slight angle to contend with. He's kicking to the Bacchus Marsh end of City Oval. And will kick from 30 metres out. The shot on goal is across the face, and he wastes an opportunity. Kicks just the one behind. As Bacchus Marsh move along to 7-6-48, their first score of this third term. And Redan 3-6-24 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard.
I think if Redan can go in at three-quarter time, only 4 or 5 goals down at worst, they would see this as winnable.
Certainly been an improved performance. And there's our boy Jess, who's been prominent. Atchison. He's going to win it back. Gets his handball out. Although the pack collapsed there on that occasion and players closed in at a rapid rate. Pack forming and the umpire will ultimately intervene and call for a ball up. 14 minutes gone in this third term.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Redan forward line even up. You know, Bacchus Marsh got one living behind the football here. So, you know, I think it would be beneficial for them just to keep their structure forward of the footy.
Ball spills out to the advantage of Bacchus Marsh. Kick towards the top of the square. Almost a good mark taken by Jake Owen. Now the ball at ground level. Oh, trouble Will Robinson. Daniel Bond does well. Slipped on the James Bond to get out of that trouble, I suspect. Atchison. And finds Flynn Atchison.
This is a better style of play. You know, it's nice and safe, risk adverse, kick and mark game.
Thinking they're hitting their targets a little better too as Cooper Atchison flies second in line. Does pretty well there on this occasion. There's Jess again. Kick inside 50. Front man. Boyer spilt the mark. Takes the ball from ground level. And a quick kick and the mark taken by Alex Harvey.
Well, Wes, what they've been able to do as a forward line is isolate their forwards. And we've spoken about making defenders nervous. We've spoken about giving the forward the best opportunity, and they've done that. They've really cleared out that forward zone, that forward 50, and just given their forwards a chance one-on-one, and it's paying dividends.
Been a much better 15 minutes from Redan. They haven't always got the reward that they've been seeking, but they could pull this one back now to an 18-point ball game. The shot on goal. His teammates on the line like it, and the Lions have, in fact, pulled another one back.
Well, if you look at the last 23, 25 minutes of footy overall, Redan have probably won possession, contested possession. They've probably won inside forward 50s, and they've probably won stoppages. So you can see why they're starting to make inroads on the scoreboard. How much gas they've got left in the tank is to be determined. Catch-up footy often takes it out of you, but then it's back to they played last week, Bacchus Marsh didn't. Who's going to be better for that?
Harvey joins McLean, Murphy and George on the goal kickers list as Redan move along to 4-6-30, now trailing by just 18 points as Bacchus Marsh, who led by as much as 32 at half-time, 7-6-48 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. The Marsh with a tricky little kick coming from the boot of Tyson Shea, and Redan will take it and go forward once again. Opportunity for Grant Bell. Swings around onto his right boot, kicks towards the top of the square. Oh, was that a mark? Isaac Grant, it was a great attempt. The Redan supporters around us certainly liked the look of it, but the umpire didn't agree, and we'll call for a ball up.
Well, the Redan supporters have found some voice, Wes, and fair enough too. They're playing an exciting brand of football at the moment.
Certainly been a good few minutes for Redan. The Marsh, Burton, he's been so good today. His kick is finding a teammate. And the mark's taken by one of their key leaders in Jake Owen.
Just amazing work rate, Wes. You know, taking that ball up across half back and now working hard down forward.
It's exemplary. Culliver plays on and then spots up a man who's able to create some separation. Now the Marsh. Oh, there he is again. Jake Owen. That is exactly what you're talking about. He kicks towards the goal square and the mark taken and hitting the posts. Harrison King.
Well, that is a major let-off for Redan. But Jake Owen still causing problems for Redan. Just a little thing, Wes. Two guys went to man the mark for Redan. One of them needed to drop back and fill that hole in front of Jake Owen.
7-7-49, Bacchus Marsh leading Redan 4-6-30. We have gone 18 minutes in this third term. The Ballarat Toyota scoreboard indicates a 19-point advantage enjoyed by the Cobras. Called to play on. Oh, that's a testing kick there on that occasion and puts a teammate under enormous pressure. Pack forms over the footy. And we're going to have a ball up as the umpire intervenes once again.
Good build-up, good system coming out of the back half, kicking their way out probably until that last kick. But the idea is right.
Burton fists the ball to the line. Heard Shea's call. Shea thought he might have had a little bit of space in which to move, but forced over the line. And the boundary umpire comes into play to throw the ball in 40 metres around from the scoring zone. Bacchus Marsh kicking to the eastern end of City Oval. Jess. Clearing kick. Almost the mark taken there on that occasion by Boyer. Good work by the Marsh through the agency of Jack Williams. LaFranchi, happy to see the ball over the boundary line right in front of us in the commentary position.
Gee, Jess is only a slight boy, Kai Jess. He's not a hugely built, footballer, but geez, he's running on top of the ground. He's having a rip, and he's really driving Redan at the moment.
He's having a terrific third term. Burton edges his opponent forward. And now the Marsh go forward. Opportunity from Hoon. Now the Marsh. Ball spills out to the advantage of Porter. Dispossessed. Oh, could have been caught high. Yes, that's how the umpire deems it. And the Lions will have it from the last line of defence. Oh, testing kick once again. Set his teammate a real task. Sky high kick. Big leap from behind. Came from Daniel Bond. And the ball bounces perilously close to the boundary line, but ultimately just inside. So we'll have a boundary throw in 60 metres around from the Bacchus Marsh scoring zone. 7-7-49, the Cobras leading the Lions 4-6-30 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. We've ticked over the 20-minute mark of this third term.
Just feels like Bacchus Marsh is starting to press here. Redan just need to really, hold them off and try and stop them from scoring.
Clash. Heavy contact there on that occasion. Totally legitimate contest. The Redan players line up for this one. Taken by Harvey. Harvey's kick. Oh, spilling the mark there was Lachlan McLean. He's got an opportunity to redeem as he locks up his Bacchus Marsh opponent.
I think it's going to be a big 7 or 8 minutes here for Redan. If they can just stop Bacchus Marsh scoring, going at three-quarter time within 2 or 3 goals, they'd have some great confidence that can overrun them.
19 points separate the sides. And massive players around the football, and that's going nowhere. Getting quite dark here at City Oval.
Well, our cameraman did say it wasn't going to rain again, but I'm not so sure about that.
Oh, Caleb is normally on the money.
Might be a better cameraman than weatherman, Wes.
Well, it takes a little bit of doing to replicate the performance of Jane Bunn on Channel 7. She normally has it pretty accurate.
Yes, no doubt about that. But it is sort of looking like we could get a little shower, but anyhow, I'll back Caleb in until the drops start falling.
Thrown in 60 metres around from the Marsh scoring zone. Bouncing footy, taken by Isaac Grant, dispossessed. Umpire says he had prior opportunity, and the free kick's going to go the way of Tyson Shea. I'm going to get a pretty good look at this one too, Hendo. I reckon we're going to know ourselves whether or not Tyson Shea's on the money.
And it's a big kick in context of the game.
Shea comes in. It's a nice kick off the boots. It's home. And the Marsh have got their 8th. 8-7-55, leading Redan 4-6-30. That's on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard as we press towards three-quarter time here at City Oval.
Yeah, I don't think we'd want to see that margin getting out any further if you were a Redan supporter. But Bacchus Marsh have been really good in wrestling back a bit of momentum in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Redan have found it terribly hard to get out of the back half. They've really pressed down hard on them, Bacchus Marsh, and provided opportunities to keep pressing into that forward 50.
They get the takeaway once again, the Cobras, although that's a good tackle by Redan. There's Jess once again. Throws the ball on the boot into the path of a teammate. Taken by McLean. Swings onto the left. Got the lead coming to the forward pocket. Grandstand side of the ground. Taken by Grant Bell. Sends it back towards the top of the goal square. Could have been a hold. Yes, that's what the umpire interprets it as.
And here's our man, Wes. This is a guy that could win the game for Redan, just in my opinion. But they've just got to get some supply in there for him.
Lockie George comes in now, pretty much directly in front. Makes no mistake, pulls one back for Redan immediately, so reduces that margin back to 19 points. Bacchus Marsh lead 8-7-55, Redan 5-6-36.
Yeah, and a really good sign for Redan to be able to hit back really quickly and just stop any further momentum for Bacchus Marsh. And gee, I've been impressed with young Jess. He's playing in the midfield. He's been playing up forward. He just loves to kick the ball long, and it's putting Bacchus Marsh under pressure in the back half. And I tell you what, Wes, we might need to light a candle up here soon because it's not getting any brighter.
It's very dark. I wonder if we might be turning the lights on here at City Oval. Getting very, very gloomy. We might ask the cars around the ground, of which there are many, to turn their headlight lamps on. 8-7-55, plays 5-6-36. And we'll have a secondary ball up. A little bit of crowd activity down here at City Oval.
It's amazing what you can see when you come to the football for a day out, Wes.
Indeed. Crowd seems to have built up a little bit in front of us, actually. As hotly contested football, the Cobras with possession.
And may I say, Wes, and something we haven't mentioned is the umpires have been absolutely fantastic today. I think they've really adjudicated this game well. They've let it flow, made decisions only when they've really had to. So it's been a great performance by both of these guys.
Yeah, it sure has been. They've done a great job. Oh, the takeaway was with Redan. Awkward bouncing football. Oh, the quick hands. It was a good idea there on that occasion by Lockie McLean, but unfortunately it only fell the way of LaFranchi. The Marsh go forward once again. Good work by Redan. They'll use midfield. Clever defensive work there by Harrison King. There's our boy Jess. Puts a man into space. Now to right half forward, and the mark's taken. Grant Bell, he's been good. Bell looks to the top of the goal square. The big men fly. LaFranchi King sends it to the outer side of the ground. Parente has front running. Atchison. And the ball over the boundary line between centre wing and half forward. Redan into attack, but trailing by 19 points.
Well, you know, game's up for grabs. You know, it's anyone's contest at the moment.
Burton just tried to hack it out of the air. The Lions have the numbers. Fitzgibbon. McDougall. Now Jess. Likes to run. Takes the bounce, then kicks long. Big leap. Almost a good mark taken there on that occasion by Marty Boyer. It's a different Redan in this quarter than it was in the first half of the game.
It's completely different. You know, like Jess has given him some really good run and carry. You know, he's taking the grass in front of him. And as a result, they're getting deeper entries and really putting the Bacchus Marsh defenders under pressure. It didn't happen at all in the first half.
Siren sounds to end our third quarter. It's a 28-minute quarter. Redan kicked 3 goals to 1, and they were able to reduce a 32-point halftime deficit back to a 19-point margin at three-quarter time. Bacchus Marsh lead 8-7-55 to 5-6-36 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Brett Henderson, your thoughts on the way in which the third quarter played out?
Oh, I just thought Redan really responded well to the coach's instructions at half time. Let's look for the short 45. Let's kick our way out of the back half. Let's not kick long down the line. Let's not allow them to impact the ball in the air. And then some guys like Jess started to get their hands on the football through the midfield, run and carry, deeper entries, put the pressure on the Bacchus Marsh defenders. And, you know, they pepped the goals and probably missed 2 or 3, you know, reasonable opportunities. Credit to Bacchus Marsh, though. They wrestled back a bit of momentum halfway through that quarter. Jake Owen's been terrific, you know, running, you know, back defensively as well as presenting hard as a forward. You know, they've been really impressive, Bacchus Marsh, but no doubt Redan are coming at them, and they're coming at them pretty hard.
Yeah, they are indeed. We have just the one multiple goal kicker for Bacchus Marsh. That's Porter with the first 2 goals of the game. Hickman, Owen, McKercher, German, Burton and Shea all have single goals. And for Redan, George has 2. Harvey, McLean and Murphy have 1 apiece. At quarter time, it was Bacchus Marsh by 24 points, 32 points at half time. They now lead by 19 points with 1 quarter to play in our Ballarat Toyota match of the day for round 5. We'll be back after a short break.
As proud sponsors of the Ballarat Football Netball League, we love supporting local.
And love community sport, and we encourage everyone to get out there, support your local football and netball league, and of course, support local business.
We're back with the Ballarat Toyota match of the day. Wes Cusworth and Brett Henderson with you. The Ballarat Toyota scoreboard 8-7-55. Bacchus Marsh, Redan 5-6-36. The scoreboard is standing out brightly, Brett. The lights are on here at City Oval.
And it's really dark, Wes, but I tell you what, the Redan supporters' mood would have brightened a little bit for that last quarter. And this is going to be a big 10 minutes here, this first 10 minutes, Wes.
Yeah, it should be a very, very entertaining fourth and final quarter as we see that the 19-point margin that Bacchus Marsh currently enjoys. The momentum, you would say, with that 3-goal to 1 third term is certainly with Redan in this second half, but can they actually eat into this 19-point advantage that is enjoyed by Bacchus Marsh? They're going to go forward once again. Quick hands, running into goal. Shot on goal is to the left and a miss for the Lions.
Gee, they've got some pace when they move the ball quickly, Wes. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but they've got some really good running and receive players that really cover the ground quickly. That was a big opportunity to really put some pressure on Bacchus Marsh. But as we've spoken about, Redan are really coming. They're coming at Bacchus Marsh, and you know, they'd want to be pretty careful here, Bacchus Marsh, that they don't cough up a couple of quick goals.
Well, they probably can't afford to just try to see this game out either. They need to continue to strive to go forward to win this contest. Here's an opportunity for McLean. Kick around the body. It's a one-on-one in the goal square. And the ball bounces through for another behind. So back to a 17-point ball game.
Well, I'd say Jared Polo, he's recognised that Lockie George is the man to kick the winning score here, and he's just put him down deep in the forward half.
Try to give him some space. I suppose you've got to win it through midfield to make sure that he gets those opportunities, though, don't you?
Absolutely. And I think with the addition of Jess into the forward half, they've found someone who can win the ball and drive it into the forward half to give George, you know, those opportunities.
The Marsh continue to use that southern side of the ground. They come back towards the corridor now. Here's Ethan McKercher. Swings onto the left, goes by hand, off to a teammate. Now into the corridor. Awkward bouncing football. Daniel Bond and finds Atchison, who I reckon might have changed his number at half-time from 16 to 6, just to test us.
Well, he's been very good, you know, although he's coughed that one up. But he's really worked hard defensively today.
Hickman was the target, taken by the Lions, beset upon by 2 Cobras. And the umpire calls for a ball up. Hard up against the boundary, 20 metres out from the Bacchus Marsh goal. Lead it by 17 points, Bacchus Marsh. Certainly game on, though, with a full quarter to travel. Bacchus Marsh have got the numbers here. It's Daniel Burton combining with Culliver. No, in fact, over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in between centre wing and half forward. Bacchus Marsh just into attack.
Big couple of minutes here, I reckon, Wes, just for Redan. Well, they've got a bit of momentum to hit the scoreboard.
Crash of bodies, and the umpires will once again come into the action. Got a private function immediately below us in the Redan Football Club rooms. When I say private function, obviously an official Redan function. And opportunity now for Lachlan McLean. His handball was cut off though, and the Marsh win it back. Moving the ball rapidly inside 50. Atchison gets across and cuts that one off, takes a solid mark.
And I like this, just slow it down, try and find someone by foot, and he's been able to do that. And now it's about that next kick.
Bond. The Lions have got the numbers. McDougall, although they hand it back. The Marsh inside 50. That was a good kick by LaFranchi. Just well weighted, wasn't it, really? And provides an opportunity for the young one in Rylan Porter to go back and kick his third goal. And this would take a fair bit out of the sails of the Redan team if he is in fact successful. He comes in now, pretty tight angle, 45 degrees. Shot on goal. Bit of right to left about it. It's across the face and through for a minor score. The margin restored to 3 straight kicks.
Yeah, just an opportunity for Porter. He's already done his job. He's kicked 2 as a small forward, but a third would have been a bonus. But, you know, keeps Redan well and truly alive in this game.
Ballarat Toyota scoreboard 8-8-56. Bacchus Marsh lead Redan 5-8-38. Kick and on the full on this occasion. And it's going to be Isaac Grant from right half back.
And he's got to somehow try and find, you know, a ball inside or a bit of an angle like that. And I know he's tried, it hasn't come off. So it could hurt them.
Kick inside 50 now, fisted away. The target was Owen. Just at times, even when Redan have found that more fluent brand of football, their delivery hasn't quite hit the target, and they've been turning it back to Bacchus Marsh and giving them further opportunities to go forward.
Yeah, absolutely, Wes.
Front position was Hickman. Opportunity for Redan using central corridor. Cobras get the numbers back. Going by hand and selling a teammate into all sorts of trouble and deemed to be in the back. Probably a little fortunate to get away with that one, Bacchus Marsh. Now they've got some space in which to move. This is Alex Porter. He kicks to the right forward pocket. Redan have the numbers. Here's Jess.
He's got some wheels, Jess. He can run. And he's been instrumental in this comeback for Redan.
Good work by the Lions. Cooper Atchison. It's a one-on-one. George, handball over the top. Cooper Atchison again. And now the mark taken in the left forward pocket.
Well, just in that bit of play, you've got Jess, you've got George, you've got Cooper Atchison, and they've all been terrific performers today for Redan. And, you know, if they keep getting involved in these plays, they're going to provide scoring opportunities for their side.
Lockie McLean. Shot on goal. It's a tough shot for a left footer. He comes in. It's nice off the boot. He likes it. So too the goal umpire. His teammates go to him. That is a terrific shot on goal from Lockie McLean. And we have a 12-point ball game. Bacchus Marsh 8-8-56. And leading Redan, who have moved along to 6-8-44.
Well, Bacchus Marsh kicked the first 4 goals of the game, Wes, and you're probably thinking, well, they're going to win this by 8-9 goals. But since then, they've only kicked another 4. And Redan have kicked 6, missed some easy opportunities. But we start talking about the 2 Atchison boys. We start talking about Lockie George. We talk about Jess in the midfield. You know, those players are having a real impact at the moment. So on the other foot, you know, Jakey Owen has been absolutely sensational. You know, and a couple of other Bacchus Marsh boys have really stood up at different times. But, you know, this game's on the line now, and it's going to be a really interesting, you know, 25, 20 minutes.
Approaching the 8-minute mark of this 4th and final term, the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard says 8-8-56 plays, 6-8-44. Certainly game on. That was a terrific shot on goal. As a coach, you want to see the execution of skills, and that was exemplary.
Oh, it was a great kick, you know, particularly for a left footer in that pocket. And, you know, something about football, when you get the momentum, things just tend to keep going right, and that's the way it's sort of playing out at the moment. And the great thing about this, Wes, is the crowd's getting really involved in it. It seems to have really built as the day's gone on, and a bit of atmosphere around this now.
Well, it'd be a massive steal if Redan was to get there, but I tell you what, they're playing some pretty good football in this second half. That's a real up and under. And no great gains made up there on that occasion. And we'll have a ball up on the edge of the centre square. Grandstand side of the ground. Dunstan and Burton. Burton's probably not quite as outstanding in this second half as he was in the first half. And now Redan with an opportunity to go forward once again. The kick out wide. Use of the body there on that occasion. Fitzgibbon wraps his opponent up. And good work by Culliver just to not let that get away, because Redan might have been up and away then.
Absolutely, and they were. And, you know, Cooper Atchison, you know, driving them forward. But, you know, Bacchus Marsh, they probably just need to, you know, hit this scoreboard and put a bit of pressure back on Redan.
Opportunity for King. Held on the boundary line. Umpire says we'll have a ball up right on the line. In fact, I reckon King was gesticulating to the boundary umpire that one might have been over, but in fairness to the boundary umpire, he was hatching it. It was pretty hard to see, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Burton and Dunstan. Palmed away with the right by Burton. And we'll have another pack forming around the footy.
It's been a good duel between the two big boys, the two ruckmen. You know, you said Burton was really good that first half, but it's probably, you know, equalised a little bit, you know, this second part of the game.
Ballarat Toyota scoreboard says 2 straight kicks separate the sides. King sends his team forward. Very good mark taken by Jake Owen every time the ball goes forward. He is an incredible source of danger for the Redan defence.
Yeah, look, Jake's been a good footballer over a number of years. You know, he's highly touted as a Calder cannon when he was younger. Played some VFL football, been probably Bacchus Marsh now for, you know, 4 or 5 years, and geez, he's a great forward player at country football level.
Well, this could be a defining moment in the game as we tick over the 10-minute mark of the 4th and final term. His side leads by 12 points. Jake Owen, tight angle, starts it right, it ends right. He leads by 13 points. And there's a few words being said there, I suspect, by Atchison, who might be being a little bit cheeky, the lad.
Yeah, he looks like a cheeky type with the peroxided hair, Wes. I'm sure that he wouldn't be backward in coming forward. But now this gives Redan an opportunity to really push, you know, forward from the kick in.
13 points. Oh, cut off by King on full stretch. Well,
maybe just need to be a deeper kick.
Yeah.
You know,
it's opening up an opportunity now with a set shot on goal for King. Obviously saw a target, just didn't quite hit the target.
Yeah, and once again, we talk about the idea being right, but being able to execute that idea. And unfortunately, you know, best laid plans don't always come off.
Harrison King. Just subtle, if any, angle. Shot on goal. Goes the journey. And look at his teammates flood to him. That's a really, really significant goal in the makeup of this game.
Well, it's really interesting. I don't think Daniel Burton had much confidence in him then, Wes, because he actually had his back turned to the kick, and he was talking to one of his teammates on the wing, and he waited for the ball to go through before he joined in the celebration. So, yeah, I'm not sure if he was that confident in King's kick, but gee, that's a big goal in the context of the game. And now Redan have just got to find that will to push forward and try and hit the scoreboard quickly in response like they did last time.
Ballarat Toyota scoreboard indicates Bacchus Marsh 9-9-63, 19-point leaders over Redan 6-8-44 in what's proving to be a very entertaining game, albeit that in the opening stages of the first term it looked like it was going to be all one-way traffic. Here's an opportunity for Dean Matthews, sends it out wide, spots up a teammate, and now an opportunity for Redan to move forward. They need to create something and they need to do it quickly. Coming through the central corridor. Good diving mark there on that occasion. Playing on immediately. They recognise the opportunity that exists with Sam McDougall sending the ball to a one-on-one. Front position, mark taken. Good work.
Well,
Lockie George.
Yeah, we said they probably just need to respond really quickly. They've been able to do it. They've identified perhaps a kink in the Bacchus Marsh armour where quick play on, just give the ball to the runner, take the game on. It's going to give them a chance to hit the scoreboard, and Lockie George coming in for a shot on goal now.
Lockie George looking for number 3. Shot on goal, directly in front, and kicks the major. Pulls another one back for Redan. They move along to 7-8-50, trailing Bacchus Marsh 9-9-63 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard as we approach the midway mark of this 4th and final term. And it's still game on as it's back to a 13-point spread enjoyed by the Cobras.
It's always a danger, Wes, when you can't shake a side, when they keep persisting all day, and just in the back of your mind you have that nagging doubt about whether you can actually get over the line and get rid of them. Full credit to Redan, they keep coming. But Bacchus Marsh have responded at different times to kick that vital goal.
They can certainly switch it on Redan when they want to, or when they, I suppose, just get that system happening. Bacchus Marsh win it from the middle through Burton, move it forward to just outside 50. 9-9 plays 7-8 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. This is the round 5 Ballarat Toyota match of the day. Really entertaining contest now. The Marsh go forward, dribbling sort of kick, no real direction, although problematic for Dean Matthews as he went one way then the other and then unfortunately turned it straight back, and King's got it just outside 50.
And King's sort of playing through the midfield now, really having an influence on this game.
Oh, he liked the first goal. He wants to get a second. He kicks long towards the goal square, crumbed at ground level, taken by Ryland Porter. The snap on goal. Well, that's awfully close and touched just on the line. Just as well the Redan man was as close as he was there on that occasion. It's a 14-point ball game. 9-10 plays 7-8 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Centre wing. Not forgetting, of course, that the unofficial Hendo votes after the game. I'm looking for a 3-2-1 from you, Brett.
Well, I've got a few in mind.
Good.
Wes, a few. And I think the next 10 minutes are going to be absolutely critical. Someone could bob up.
Still wide open.
Could bob up.
Can we see a match-winning few minutes from Redan, or will Bacchus Marsh continue to streak away? Running over the top of the footy there on that occasion was Grant Bell, and the ball over the boundary line 60 metres around from the scoring zone for Redan.
I think Redan is still going to just take this game on, Wes, and that's exciting, you know. And Bacchus Marsh, they're probably after a little bit of tempo footy just at the moment, just to slow things down and take a bit of heat out of it.
The Marsh get the take away from the throw-in, and on full stretch.
And just like this, I think Jakey Owens sort of recognised that. Let's just slow it down a little bit. Take a bit of heat off it.
Owen inboard. Spots up German. And retaining possession, and there's Owen. 55 metres from home. Sells a bit of candy and then goes inside 50. Atchison flies. A couple of Redan Lions may have spoilt one another there. And all the umpires pulled a free kick out. Oh, did you pick that one, Hendo?
Well, it was probably there because he sort of just spun around when he gathered the ball. But I think the problem for Redan went back to the marking contest. They had 2 or 3 guys going for that one ball. So once again, a big opportunity for Bacchus Marsh, and perhaps to make it really tough for Redan to win this.
I reckon this might be Tyson Shea. And he has missed pretty badly on this occasion, albeit that the margin is now 15 points. 9-11 Bacchus Marsh, leading Redan 7-8-50 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Parente back towards the goal square. Atchison and rushed through for a behind and then wanted to play on immediately. That was, well, it was good thinking, but it was probably just a little bit too hasty there on that occasion.
Well, I think he almost bluffed the umpire because it took a little while to pick that one up. But, yeah, he's done well today, Atchison.
Now a 16-point ball game. 9-12 plays 7-8.
But I like this from Redan. They've sort of got a bit of central corridor football here if they want to. And once again, that's not too bad. They're not probably getting out too wide, but probably need to look to bring the ball back in here.
On full stretch again was Jake Owen. Well, they're standing up pretty well across the midfield. Bacchus Marsh not letting too much through. Oh, bang, crash. Could have been high. Umpire calls play on. Ball kicked into space.
This is their chance, Wes. They're on here if they can get this next connection.
And kick towards the centre wing, but that was clever work by Bacchus Marsh. If Cooper Atchison had gathered, he was away, but it was equally good by Serafino Cray. And just shutting down that forward 4A for Redan. 9-12-66 plays 7-8-50 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. Fisted forward by Burton. Here's Jess. McLean. George, the target. In fact, it was Bell. And now the ball held up as a pack forms 45 metres out from the Redan goal. The clock starting to pose a bit of a problem for Redan. We're approaching the 20-minute mark.
Well, it is, and then you start thinking, do you throw Lockie George back in around the contest and perhaps put Jess forward? You know, like it's a really big conundrum for the Redan footy side at the moment.
Good work by Dean Matthews. Puts the ball out in his space. Marty Boyer's the target. Foot races on. He was up against Dominic Meeson there on that occasion. Oh, spun around, called to play on. Shot is falling just short of the goal square, and the mark's taken by Culliver.
Yeah, I think it might be time to put Lockie George back up around the footy, Wes. Otherwise, they're just not going to get the supply.
Ball falls through hands. Now the foot race. Hun is wrapped up, and the ball to be thrown in on centre wing. 9-12-66 plays 7-8-50 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard in our round 5 Ballarat Toyota match of the day between Bacchus, Marsh and Redan here at City Oval. Kick smothered and over the boundary line once again.
Yeah, you know, with stoppages, there's probably going to be more stoppages as the game goes longer. You know, players getting tired. You know, I just think Lockie George sitting down at full forward.
A little bit wasted.
Just perhaps a little bit wasted. I know it's a tough decision for them, but, you know, I think you just need him around the footy.
He's one of the game's better players in Burton. Ripped it out of the ruck, put boot to ball. Sends his side forward once again, 55 from home. Quick hands come from the Marsh. Now towards the top of the square. Oh, drifting back. Coming through is Owen. He got a handball out. It was a prolonged tackle there on that occasion, but the umpire said it was okay.
I love the umpiring, Wes. Not only do you get the decision, but you get the action about the decision.
Yeah, they're letting it go. They're doing a good job.
The umpire's actually showing that he handballed it. You know, it's like the old days.
Here's the Lions at ground level. Jess is in the mix. And we'll have another stoppage, 25 metres out.
And here it is, Wes. Lockie George now running up to this stoppage, going on ball, and it's going to be interesting to see who they flick back.
They wait too long?
Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe a minute too late, but there's still time on the clock, but they need to get a bit of a wriggle on here.
Grant Bell has it at half back. He goes long. Oh, there's our man, Lockie George. Moving it on quickly. Redan into attack. Bouncing footy. Now the kick towards the top of the square. Boyer. Ball fisted away. And Marty Boyer was certainly under the pump there. He had a couple of Bacchus Marsh rivals to contend with, and the ball fisted over the line. Good defensive work by the Cobras.
And it's not getting any easier to see, Wes. It's certainly getting darker, and yeah, pretty hard to pick up what's going on out there. But, you know, Redan need to open up these stoppages in the forward half.
66 plays 50. Remembering that Bacchus Marsh got away to a very bright beginning in this contest. Redan have certainly had a better second half, but they're holding on here. Bacchus Marsh, they're holding on strongly. They've had a couple of very tight finishes this year, and whilst this one is a little more comfortable at this particular point in time, they certainly know how to manage a game when it's pretty tight.
Yeah, and you know, it's an important thing to do because, as you said before, game is about inches, and if you can win those tight ones, it's the difference between a good season and an average season.
Wrapped up in the tackle. Umpire says you had prior opportunity. Spun around a couple of times, and Isaac Grant wins himself a free kick just forward of centre wing. Need to move it quickly, Isaac. We're approaching the 23-minute mark of this fourth and final term. Lockie McLean was in the mix. Ball comes out and then back into fairly heavy traffic. McKercher. Little kick forward. Jess. He wastes no time and goes long with the kick. Good direct kick straight up the corridor. Meeson. George. Oh, George with the don't argue and then runs smack bang into a pair of Cobras. And he's wrapped up and will concede possession of the football as Meeson wins himself a free kick.
He's known as the fridge Lockie George, but that time they certainly wrapped him up and made sure he didn't get through that play.
They thought him out there on that occasion.
Certainly did.
Left half back for the Cobras. Kick towards centre wing. Big leap. And the ball fisted over the boundary line to be thrown in.
Bacchus Marsh now just sort of playing wide. Happy to get stoppages. Happy to run some time off the clock. You know, we're 25 minutes in. You know, time really against Redan now.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough ask for Redan now. They've managed this last 10 minutes pretty well, the Cobras. And the ball over the boundary line once again on that far side of the ground, which in the gloominess of City Oval makes it pretty challenging to see.
Well, Redan have just got to go for everything there. Got to go for broke, flick through the stoppages, just keep moving the ball forward, take risks.
George doing the ruck work against Burton there on that occasion. And seeing the ball over the line was Cray.
Yeah, a lot asked of Lockie George. You know, and he's a great contributor, but I'm sure, you know, Redan would love another one or two players to help with a bit of versatility.
Well, midfield, forward, ruck. He's doing a bit of everything today, Lockie George, isn't he?
Absolutely.
We know he's just a highly accomplished player. Grabbed high. Free kick's going to go the way of Cooper Atchison. Cooper needs to move it quickly. He does so. Swings onto the left. Kick towards half forward. Flying attempt by Marty Boyer. Oh, grabbed was Fitzgibbon.
Cooper Atchison's been awesome, Wes, today, but let's get it to dangerous areas. Let's not go wide so that Bacchus Marsh can defend easily.
It really is a matter of just throwing everything at it now for Redan and potentially even conceding goals in their quest to expose the Bacchus Marsh defence. A little too wide there on that occasion, and now Bacchus Marsh will just have the opportunity to take it from defensive 40 and just control the contest in the final few minutes of our match of the day. Redan into attack, but they're trailing by 16 points. And we have another stoppage.
And Bacchus Marsh has got all numbers around. You have a look at the Bacchus Marsh forward line. There's no one actually in it. They've just got numbers around the stoppage. Make it terribly difficult for Redan to get through.
Heavy tackle, and the umpire calls for another ball up. Here's a one-on-one. Two players closest to the Bacchus Marsh goal, and they're in midfield. Further players converge on the contest. Redan get the breakaway. Now they need to move the ball quickly into attack. Jess is the target. Takes a nice mark on full stretch and hurts his knee in the process. And there's 50. A 50.
Well, is there a glimmer of hope, Wes? Is there a glimmer of hope?
This is going to put Jess within goal-kicking distance. There's no question of that. The margin currently sits at 16 points.
He's been absolutely sensational for today.
Well, he kicks the goal, but the umpires called him back and said, we haven't quite stationed the man on the mark appropriately.
And you don't want to go back and miss the next one that really counts, do you?
No. So 16 points separate the sides on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard, and here's Jess in the shadows of full time at City Oval, and Jess now. He just needs to repeat what he did only moments ago. He comes in and he doesn't.
Football is a cruel game, Wes. And that would have given the game just a bit of a pulse.
9-12-66 plays 7-9-51 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard as Jess misses to the left. He's been really good in this second half.
We now have all 36 players basically in the front half, in the Redan forward half.
So the Marsh just shutting this game down now. And there is one of our players of the day, Jake Owen, who has been highly influential. Marks at half back. He thought to go back there and retreat even further, but now he's called to play on and he kicks long along the line. Ball comes to ground. Trying to burst through the pack there was Dean Matthews, and we'll have another ball up.
I think Jake Owen's probably been the most influential player on the field, Wes, because he's been prepared to do his work not only in the forward half but push deep to help his defenders. And he's just stood up every time they've been challenged, and it's been a great captain's game from Jake.
His work rate's been absolutely enormous today.
Yep.
Like, as you pointed out a number of times, his willingness to be at a contest and then to suddenly appear moments later 50 metres further down the field. Like, it's a lot of hard running that goes relatively unnoticed unless a player's on the receiving end. But he's been there.
Yep.
Here's Redan going forward once again. Atchison, I'm not sure if Atchison's been thrown forward or followed his man forward, but he was doing a lot of work on the last line of defence, and there doesn't appear to be a last line of defence now for Redan. They're contending with the fact that Bacchus Marsh has just flooded their back line and obviously Redan's forward line. Here's Redan with possession, kick towards the corridor. Oh, crash. A couple of Bacchus Marsh players collided there. There's a quick shot on goal. Shot towards goal, and the mark's taken. And that's Grant Bell. That's taken the mark some 25 metres out from goal. He hurries back for his set shot to the eastern end of the game. And kicks truly. So the margin back to 9 points.
Surely not, Wes.
It would seem highly unlikely, but Grant Bell kicks the goal.
Surely not. There can only be, I would think, 30 seconds left, but stranger things have happened in football.
They have. 9-12-66 plays 8-9-57. It's a 9-point ball game, and we are clearly very close to full time. That is the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard in our Round 5 Ballarat Toyota match of the day. As the umpire throws the ball up between the big men once again.
And Lockie George almost won that ruck contest.
He's man everywhere, isn't he, today? And there's a good mark taken by Rex Hickman. He was really prominent early, has had a quieter second half, but often it's about opportunities, and clearly Bacchus Marsh haven't had the opportunities moving forward that they did enjoy in the first half. So where Redan have amazingly worked themselves back into the contest to trail by just 9 points, here's Rex Hickman, who will go very long towards goal. That won't go the journey. Oh, that's good work.
That was elite forward line craft.
That was Tom Hawkins-like, wasn't it, really?
It was. It was ball in the air. He just engaged with his opponent, pushed him off, kept his own feet, and the opposition player lost his and now shot on goal, and certainly a chance to really seal it.
Tyler Hun. Fairly tight angle to contend with. Kicking from the right forward pocket. Will kick from about 25 metres out. We're right behind it. We're certainly going to get to adjudicate this one. With the margin sitting at 9 points as we approach the 34-minute mark of this fourth and final quarter. He comes in now. It starts right. It curls. It doesn't curl enough. But that behind constitutes a 10-point victory for Bacchus Marsh. 9-13-67 to Redan 8-9-57 on the Ballarat Toyota scoreboard. The Ballarat Toyota match of the day for round 5 goes the way of the Marsh, as we see that Porter kicked 2 goals. Singles to Hickman, Owen, McKercher, German, Burton, Shea and King. And for Redan, we had multiple goal kickers in George with 3 and McLean with 2, and singles to Murphy and Harvey. Well, Brett, just your assessment of the way in which the game was played, and clearly it was an early jump enjoyed by Bacchus Marsh, which proved the difference in the wash-up.
Yeah, I think Redan will learn from it. Bacchus Marsh were really good. They just had a better system early in the game. They used the ball better by foot. I just felt Redan were a little bit wobbly in the back half, just wanted to play fast footy. Once they corrected that at half-time, and probably the 8 minutes before half-time, they got back in the game. And then they decided to take the game on, and it was exciting to watch. But look, Bacchus Marsh, as you noted before, they've won some contests by, reasonably small margins, sign of a good side. I think the difference for them today was probably the key forward in Jake Owen. I thought he was exceptional, whereas, the Redan coaching staff had to throw the magnets around to try and get the right combination, and they almost got there in the end.
Well, what about your Hendo votes for this week?
Well, my Hendo votes are going to go to one of my ex-players, Wes. The 3 votes is going to go to Jake Owen, because I thought he was exceptional. And it wasn't just his game, it was his leadership and his willingness to push back from the forward half. So I'm going to give him 3 votes. I'm going to give the Bacchus Marsh ruckman, who I thought in the first half was exceptional, in Daniel Burton, the 2 votes. I know he probably faded out of the game. And I'm going to give 1 vote to Redan's Cooper Atchison, because I thought he really drove the Lions back into the game, along with, Jess and Lockie George. Lockie George was fabulous, but he probably just didn't have the bigger impact on the game that he could have had because he was spending time down forward. But that's the way I saw it, Wes, and it was a quality game of football, good crowd, well umpired, and a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon. And it didn't even rain, as Caleb said, so that was a bonus.
Well, he was on the money, wasn't he? We'll just stick with this for a few moments longer, because I can see the goal umpires are actually going to the timekeepers and scorers box. They're just going to clarify. We're going to make sure that we've got this score correct, which no doubt they are going to do very, very shortly, as much as the scoreboard is actually winding down. Not sure whether it was a 9 or a 10-point victory enjoyed, but we're just going to have that clarified.
But it was a great game of football, Wes. Once again, seen 2 Ballarat League games of football in the last 3 weeks, and they've both been great contests.
Yeah, they have been, haven't they? They've been different contests.
Yeah.
I mean, that first encounter that we enjoyed a fortnight ago, North Ballarat up against Ballarat, obviously that contest being played at Marsh Stadium, and this one here at City Oval. And I must say, where perhaps both you and I, given your football playing experience with Sebastopol quite some time ago, where the grounds might have been a touch heavier than the grounds that we've been able to witness.
It was horrific for a thinly built player back in those days, Wes, because they were all big-bodied and you're running through the mud, and it was a really contested brand of football, whereas you're seeing different styles. We saw Ballarat style v North Ballarat, and today Redan v Bacchus Marsh. Every club's got their own style of football, and really interesting, and I think both sides extremely well coached. And with the level of coaching, when that rises, I reckon the level of play rises as well.
Just waiting on confirmation of the final score, but it does look like it might be Bacchus Marsh 9-12-66 to Redan 8-9-57. The scoreboard score has been taken down, but the goal umpires did go out to speak to the people managing the scoreboard, just to see, or to provide a little clarification on what they actually came up with. So the situation here in the Ballarat Toyota match of the day is that we saw Bacchus Marsh get away to a very bright beginning. They held the ascendancy at quarter time by 24 points, 4-2, 26-2 behinds. They led by 32 points at half time, and it was a 19-point spread enjoyed at three-quarter time. Despite the fact that Redan played much better football in this second half, the Bacchus Marsh visiting team was able to hold on and enjoy what was not so much a comfortable victory, but certainly a meritorious victory by seemingly 9 points, 9-12-66 to Redan 8-11 89-57.
Yeah, great game, Wes. Close contest. Really enjoyed it, and hopefully, both sides. It was a must-win game for both sides today. But gee, I think Redan would walk away and go, well, you know what? We're not far away. We're not far away from these sides in the top 4 or 5 positions. And we're going to cause some grief for these better sides when we get it all together.
Of course, this is the Carlton Draft post-game summary provided by Brett Henderson. And I believe you've got more footy today.
More football in the car now, Wes, and straight to beautiful Williamstown to watch Williamstown versus Frankston tonight. And that should be another really good contest.
Two standalone VFL teams?
Absolutely, and Frankston have not beaten Williamstown since 2005.
Now, Williamstown have had AFL affiliates?
Yes.
In recent times?
Affiliated with Collingwood in the early 2000s, and then with the Western Bulldogs, I think from about 2008 to 2013. So, yeah, 2 proud standalones, and I think Frankston will be coming with all guns blazing tonight, so it's going to be an interesting contest.
Yeah, Frankston have had an interesting recent history, haven't they? Because they pretty much went to the wall, I believe, a couple of years ago.
Well, I reckon they went into recess 3 years ago, Wes, and now they've come back, and they're really gaining some momentum, and they're one of those clubs when they're up and about, they are up and about.
Now let's stick with the relevance of the VFL to the Ballarat Football Netball League. And we know that there was one player missing today for Bacchus Marsh, and that was Stool Dryer, because, of course, he got the call up to his responsibilities with Port Melbourne. But what does it take for a Ballarat Football Netball League player to actually step up to that standard? How much difference is there for your major league senior footballer up to the VFL? Is there that big a gap?
Yeah, look, I think it's a huge gap, and then there's another huge gap from VFL to AFL. I think you need to have the want to do it. Number one, your commitment, work hard, all those things. You need to have, obviously a fair bit of talent. There was a number of boys out here that have been in the VFL system or tried to get in the VFL system, and they were really good players out here today. But, I think it's a fair step up. But I think the Ballarat League's in really good shape, Wes, and it's going to produce a lot of good VFL footballers at the very least.
We've just had confirmation that it was a 10-point victory enjoyed by Bacchus Marsh over Redan here at the City Oval. Well, thank you so much to everybody that's played a part in bringing us our Ballarat Football League match of the day. It's the McDonald's Ballarat Football Netball League, of course, and this is the Ballarat Toyota match of the day. To Caleb for helping us out, for Brett Henderson for fantastic work, providing special comments once again. I'm Wes Cusworth on behalf of the team, hoping that you can join us again in future weeks.